Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm here joined with Arlen, and we are ready to bring you some great League of Legends for this evening. We have DePauw Esports up against Revolution Esports in Week 5 of our Gold League this season. We're in our opening night of our second round robin, and we are ready to get some League of Legends underway. We are here in the draft. We're ready to get it underway. Arlen, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go, and here to stay. But yeah, as we get into the draft, instantly we see the orange Shenggold getting taken away. Very two beefy guys, in the jungle and in the top lane respectively. And then I do believe Revolution is using E sub, so of course they will lose those two bans, or just a single ban, just the one ban. So it's just one not banned away, and they're gonna instead choose to take away the victor.
Yeah, the Ornn ban here definitely trying to be taken away from Raptor up in the top lane as their most played champion. 44 games, vastly, and you probably hear 44 and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like too many. It's just, and then you take a look at the rest of the champions and single digits all the way down. So probably good to take that comfort champion away, especially when you're down here in gold or just around here in gold. It's comfort is king. And by making someone take off their comfort, definitely going to take a whole lot of time trying to figure out what's the best way to make that person comfortable in that lane without their comfort pick.
Absolutely, and I think that's just smart drafting. Like you said, comfort is king. Get the comfortable picks down here in this lower elo bracket and just win through that. Even if on paper it's a worse draft, it doesn't quite matter if everybody's playing their one tricks, right? So we will see Diana get picked up, potentially a jungle pick, and I do like it if it does go into the jungle. It allows her to really power farm, look for that first item, look for that first power spike, and they can potentially put Yasuo top lane or mid lane or even bot, depending on if it's a good enough matchup. But you're going to kind of pick with Annie and Mordekaiser, and honestly, I'm still thinking this is a really primo Yasuo game. Just stop all of Annie's early damage and really look to punish the weaknesses of such a 1s and 0 type of champion.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but Yasuo just, like we saw in the kind of like the early patches of, I think it was about 12-3 or 12-4, or even like pretty early on in the season, Yasuo and Diana, very, very potent combination that a lot of people liked using in high levels of play. You press that R button and instantaneously you have a really, really good Yasuo ultimate to follow right up on it. But we're going to have the Jinx immediately locked in by DePauw here. So very strong AD carry. We're looking to go a little bit later into this game, perhaps. A lot of folks have been saying that this meta is, whoa, and there it is. There it is.
Yeah, even with the recent minor Jinx nerfs, you do see a lot more hit to her mana pool in the early game. You do see a lot less range. You do see a lot less of her winning early. Since it's an ability she's going to max first anyway, it's not really quite as impactful as other nerfs to champions Qs have been in the past. So still a super strong AD carry, still super dangerous in the right hands, and I like the Kai'Sa kind of pick into it. I actually really do think Kai'Sa is getting a lot more recognition that she deserved a long time ago, to be quite frank. But yeah, especially with her new AP build floating around, she can really look to put some work on it. But right now, I think Yasuo, Diana, Jinx is such a strong three-man core that anything they put around it really just will win DePauw the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have played with someone who basically on Kai'Sa's release was just jamming games of AP Kai'Sa. So I pretty much have seen firsthand, not just in ARAM games, like in Summoner's Rift games, like how deadly those rockets can be with the Kai'Sa build as well. And a lot of these AP builds usually will go into like an AD mythic maybe, and then into like a tier item, or the other way around, right? They'll go into an AP mythic and then go and grab themselves a Muramana or something in order to make sure that they can still kind of do a lot of the other powerful things and not just have the rockets, right? That is kind of core to Kai'Sa's kind of build, just being this kind of flexible, kind of adaptable, if you will, AD carry that can kind of be powerful no matter what she's building.
Absolutely. That is her key. That's what they built her for, right? And I think that adaptability is what they're going to need here on the side of Revolution. They have a lot of AP. It's a very heavy AP heavy team right now with the Annie, with the Mordekaiser. They're going to need a heavy AD threat, or it's got to be all on the back of Kai'Sa. And as flexible as she is, she can't really index into one or the other quite as heavily unless she
Right.
really wants to sacrifice a key ability, right? So
Hmm.
either it's going to be her Q getting sacrificed or it's W, and in this case, it looks to be her W because right now it's just so much AP, especially with that Nautilus getting locked in. A common bot lane that we often see a lot, Kai'Sa Nautilus, but one that can get countered very easily. And in fact, we won't see the counter pick, but we're going to see, we'll match you tit for tat, and they're going to grab the Rel Malphite.
Okay.
Baby's first team comp.
All right. I mean, this definitely looks like hey, this we're a Yasuo comp that has a jinx built in just in case. Oh hey, whoops, our Yasuo didn't work out. Good thing it's 35 minutes and now we've got Jinx. So here we go. We now have a bunch of CC for the Jinx as well. We have some peel as well. I mean, Yasuo is no slouch when it comes to team utility. There's a lot of things on the enemy team that are going to end up being blocked by that wind wall. They has a knock up as well. That we can't excuse me, can't.
No problem.
I'm blanking on the word, but you can't count Yasuo out. There we go. You can't count Yasuo out when it comes to at least some ability to help Jinx kite if this game goes very late. But yeah, I mean, that's really what I see here from DePauw. I mean, the Malphite, Rel, Diana, like that's 3 knockups already, all multiple AoE knockups as well. So it's looking like a Yasuo comp that just kind of like, oh, oops, we went a little too long. Now I guess it's Jinx comp.
Absolutely, and I respect that. I think, like you said, comfort and ease of use of a comp is a lot better than in most cases down here than just pure outdrafting your opponent or just having a better overall comp. And I do like, though, that Revolutions kind of teched it a little bit, teched their own comp and picked up the Rammus. It really makes it so this Yasuo and this Jinx have to be just a little bit careful in who their target selection is, because otherwise, they just want to hit everybody else in the game. But that Rammus really makes it hurt a lot more if you're going to hit him when he's curled up, defensive curl. It's gonna really do some damage into his Yasuo if he tries to getting an ult off and he's getting taunted up and he's like, well, now I can't get my multiple man wombo combo, and then the whole team comp kind of falls apart, right? So
Yeah.
I really do like the Rammus, but I think their team comp is just too heavily indexed to the AP side of the scale that this Kai'Sa is going to find it really difficult to properly do AD damage, especially when there's a Malphite in the game. So it's kind of forcing the Kai'Sa as well to build towards a AP sort of style build, but then you just give a free stack MR game to these tanks.
Right. And I think another thing too is that I think it's kind of the same on the other hand with DePauw here. I mean, we see this Rammus lock in here, and that's really because there's 2 kind of big carries for DePauw. We got the Yasuo and we got the Jinx here. Even to a degree, Diana falls into this as well, is that, there's a lot of AD damage on DePauw right here. If a lot of people are going to be auto-attacking you, Diana, not exactly right an AD champion, but still has a lot in her kit that relies on her auto-attacking. Right? So if you are a very auto-attack heavy team composition, this Rammus, really good pick. And I agree that there's a lot of AP damage on Revolution, which forces now this Kai'Sa to go into AD, and that's going to be really hard to really be successful with when the front line for DePauw is Rel and Malphite.
Yeah, she's going to have a really hard time cutting through it, even with all of her, max percent HP damage. Once they build that MR, it's just going to be really hard to cut through that. And
Yeah.
I think that's what DePauw is. Like you said, they're kind of falling into that too a little bit, but at the same time, you have to. It's a little bit less so because, like we said, they still have AP elements to their team comp. They still have AP in the Malphite kit that does still quite a bit. Even if he doesn't build full AP, they still have Qs on the Diana that they can throw, W and her ultimate, which is a huge chunk of damage. And then more importantly, I think, is the idea that Yasuo, his ultimate, once it's after it's used, he gets 4 seconds of 50%. Just ignoring the armor of the opponent. So I think that's kind of what they're counting on, but again, it really relies on these multi-man wombo combos really going off, so then they can finally cut through the Nautilus, they can finally cut through the Rammus, and they don't have to worry quite as much about, not dealing damage to those crucial frontline targets.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many big beefy boys across both of these teams here. And even to a degree, Revolution also has Mordekaiser as well, and Mordekaiser is not a straight tank, but is still going to be very beefy on this front line here. So we really have to be watching out for a lot of this stuff. I mean, Diana even builds sometimes. I think Crown has fallen off as an item that Diana builds. There might be some cases where some folks might build it, especially if you're receiving end of the law of CC, but it's still something to keep in mind that we might have to look at and consider as we get into this game, right? There's going to be a whole lot of frontline. We'll have to see, like, if they really invest into these kind of big, heavy, max HP damage builds, because, you know, lots of very, very big, beefy characters in these front lines here.
Absolutely. And one thing they also have to consider, you know, besides just the front lines itself, is how, you know, is our engage easy enough to get off? That's something that when you build these kind of wombo combo team comps, it's saying, oh, it's easy, just everyone press R at the same time. We have to consider what they can do to stop that. Annie is a great disengage champion. It's her main kit, it's her main idea, just stopping their ability to follow up on engage by stunning the backline or stunning the middle targets, by stopping their ultimates. She can quite realistically probably get a multi-man stun off on the DePauw squad if they aren't careful about grouping, about stacking, and completely stuff their idea of getting those engages off. And then they can follow up. They can also stop it with a Nautilus ultimate in midair. They have that kind of tool. They have Rammus with his relatively reworked self, where he can speed up, jump in the middle, get multi-man knockups. They have a Mordekaiser pool to kind of disrupt the team comp, disrupt the flow of the fight. They have various ways on the side of Revolution that are varying levels of success that can stop DePauw's engage and really make it hard for them to get off. So that's just something I want both squads to be looking at. How easy it is for DePauw to get their engage off, how easy it is for Revolution to stop the engage, and how are we going to tech around that, how are we going to deal with that from both sides.
Right. And with regards to that, like, I really have to give the edge to Revolution with that kind of thought process, right? Because Revolution's comp with regards to if both of these comps are 5v5, we want to engage and fight. Revolution is a lot more flexible, like you said, with regards to engagement and disengage, so that even if they fall behind, if they are the second people to an objective and don't have the initiation, they still have a lot of tools that they can use to pull backwards and then re-engage into the fight as well. But we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of DePauw versus Revolution. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Arlen. We're ready to get game number 1 between DePauw University up against Revolution here. We're on the Rift, and we've got something of a spicy 5-man invade.
You know what? I've seen this song and dance before in my solo queue games. When they have a Nautilus, when they have such a heavy damage team comp, their burst damage can get kind of insane. But a very smart ward coming up from the side of DePauw to block that off and not even give them an opportunity to look for that kind of invade. So they just respond in the top side with their own placing down of wards and stuff. And I think that's a very smart response, very non-coin flippy way to gain a minor advantage for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And they're pushing, and I'm glad that they're putting their own wards in the river here. And now they complete the movement of the red team's jungler here is now completely spotted out. They know exactly where this Rammus is starting. Look at that. They knew exactly how he was going in, exactly how he was coming out. Now they know exactly where he is. So this is a really, really good start for DePauw. And they kind of really didn't do anything. It's just like, oh, they're spotted out there. Okay, cool.
This could be very dangerous for the Rammus here, right? You know, he could be potentially down 3 quadrants if he doesn't respond with his own little, you know, minor invade, minor counter jungling of his own. Because this Diana is looking to grab more than likely triple camps up here in the top side, or at least 2, and really put some pain on this Rammus's economy. But potentially a hook coming through in the bot lane. He's looking for the angle onto Jinx, you have to imagine.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to get that level 2. Definitely pretty early on. Nautilus, very, very potent level 2. All hook champions are. Gotta be careful of that level 2. And really good positioning by Genjabin there. Just zoning off the enemy team there. Oh, he's going really deep. Holy moly, just immediately auto-attacking right off the bat here. Android's in some trouble. Good hook on a Jinx, looking for that last bit of damage. Exhaust coming down, but Genjabin, ignite, auto flash underneath the turret. That's going to be first blood going over to Android here. They are now excited, looking for more. That's going to be the knockover, and that's a great stun as well. Lessman's in some trouble here. They're looking for a little bit more. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, MB4 is going to be picking up a mid kill right there, but BVZ is going to be picking up a kill in the bot lane. What a great start for DePauw here. 2 kills down in the bot lane. 1 and 1 being split between the AD carry and support, but I don't think you can be too upset about that.
I'm definitely not upset about that. Chinggis Kong gets executed.
Okay.
I'm a little bit upset about that, especially when Smite was up, so that's kind of more of a...
Yeah.
But hey, you have a pretty good CS lead, but we're gonna, I think, hop into a quick replay here. What exactly happened in the mid lane? Oh, the level 2 advantage. Chunks him out very nicely here, yeah. Can't really do anything. I wonder what else he walks up. Oh, still doesn't have level 2.
Don't walk it back.
Oh no, you hate to see it. I don't even play also. Just ignited, auto down. Probably one last auto here.
Oh yeah, just cool guys don't look at explosions. Oh no. Okay, not quite yet.
Oh?
Wait.
Level 2?
On.
Oh,
and
maybe
before, what do we got?
A
flash? WQ?
Nice.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, I love to see
very
it.
nice from MB4. But again, we get back in here, bot lane fighting. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Genjabin.
Top side too.
Yeah, walking beside, looking for that second snare there. Lucas and
Nice
one's now
back.
in some trouble here. Genghis Khan around the wall, going to be able to pick it up. Raptor have to flash onto the other side here. Chinggis still looking for a little bit more. Taken pretty low. Raptor, here comes squad fam in from the corner. Gonna take a couple turret shots, but gonna live to tell the tale. That's 2 kills up in the top lane, going over to DPU.
Very, very nice stuff coming out here from DePauw. And what really this is saying, as we see potentially Annie looking to stop him from getting back to lane, but he realizes what's going to happen in backs. But what we're seeing right here is the fact that they were able to get that, you know, triple quadrant going just allows them to move up into the top side of the map, allows them to play this aggressively in the top side of the map, because they know that the Rammus will be down relatively to Chinggis Kong here, right? He is just stronger than this Rammus at the current moment, and he was able to flex that advantage, buy a Dark Seal, get 3 stacks on it, and now he's really looking to scale quite hard with this Diana, and that's where you need the kills right now. That's exactly the kind of, you know, divination of the gold where you want to see it. But in the bot side, that wasn't supposed to happen. Genjabin not respecting the damage potential coming out from a Rel, just not respecting the damage early game from a Jinx, because even though she was nerfed in the early game, she still has quite a bit of damage with those rockets, doing, I think, what, an extra 160% AD ratio?
Yeah, like these rockets definitely hurt a whole lot more, and you definitely got to watch out for him, especially in this bot lane right now. That
Ooh,
this Jinx definitely is a whole. It's you know it's level 4 and they only have a noon quiver, but that's at this stage of the game that is a whole lot of damage. And even look at that, Lespanx here has to use that W in order to just kind of dash away there, the E rather.
Yeah. It really does suck when you give away 2 kills over that early, because then it's kind of like, well, what do we realistically do before 6? We're kind of have to just play it safe, or we're going to have to roam to get our advantages from now on, because, you know, Jinxes, once they get those first kills, can really just start steamrolling the game. And I think you really want to focus your mid lane here, because that's where Annie is getting a huge CS lead, huge gold lead, just off that 1 kill, and she's just really looking to make this Yasuo pay, as King Pink trading super hard with Raptor up here.
Yeah, Raptor being able to get that post-mitigation shield at the end there, going to be able to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. Genja just going on just a little too soon. Here comes Rammus in from the side here. Great taunt onto Rel. Looking for a little bit more damage here. Going to use that crash down as an escape tool. Great chompers as well. So it's a wash in the bot lane.
They're outplaying them so well mechanically down here. You know, having Rel walk up, tank that Rammus for the Jinx, and then able to jump out before the Nautilus hook can go down. They're just winning this in terms of a mechanical 2v3 outplay right now, and it's just exactly what you want to see from your bot side. But MB6 dropping the bear down just to put a lot of pressure here on this Yasuo, and he's really feeling the pain, but Diana just coming in to relieve a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Genjabin has been so greedy with this hook positioning. He's been walking through minions and taking just a whole bunch of damage from Jinx by just kind of just looking for the hook opportunity, being like, it's okay, I'll just force it, and then taking 1,000,000 damage before he even gets in, and then has to contend with Rel being able to CC him. So Genjabin just trying to, in a bit of an uncomfortable position as well. Like, Genjabin isn't a support player. They're a Kled main. They play a lot of top, you know, so now they're kind of having to deal with having 2 people having to fight against in this lane here. And sometimes when you're Kled, you can make those kind of greedy plays, right? You have like an extra HP bar to mess around with, but as Nautilus, not so much.
Yeah, Nautilus, you really only have the 1 life, and man, they're just flexing their advantage topside. You know, level 6's Reach on the jungle. Uh-oh, this might be Raptor dying. They do have ultimate.
Yeah, Raptor's going to pull them into the Shadow Realm there. Genghis Khan versus Raptor in the Shadow Realm right now. Looking for the locator cards. Can he get your Egyptian God card? He just needs a little bit more. Comes outside the Shadow Realm, knocked into the air, slammed back down. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across just for good measure. There's a bunch of low HP bars around this time. Nautilus comes out dead.
Wow, that's interesting to me. I really made you wonder what took so long for Juan to respond. Did he have to back? I don't think he backed. I think he was just doing his Raptors, and I think you should realistically be looking to rotate over to help your top laner there. And B6, I think he had to deal with a pretty huge wave under turret, so yeah, they just weren't able to rotate over. And like I said, it's just them flexing their advantages that they just have in this top side of the map. So many easy knockups for the Yasuo. Even if the Yasuo gets behind, he can quickly find his way back to the map as long as he rotates. If he stays in this lane with Annie, he's just going to keep losing more and more and more. So I think it's good. Get the Yasuo outside of lane as much as possible, but you know, keep him around the mid lane so he can collect some of that gold and experience whenever he comes back, and just win through bot lane, just being better than their opponents. So how do you win? How do you come back from this 2,000 gold deficit for the side of Revolution? Well, you have to start focusing mid lane yourself. You have to keep the Yasuo in lane, and then start focusing on killing the Yasuo on repeat using MB4's just skill on the champion over it. Less trading in the top side of the map. You don't want to get Raptor so low so easily, because then Malphite has a free roam timer. And of course, find a way for Juan to get back into this game, because like we said, he lost those first early camps, and now Diaz is able to contest them on every single camp since. And it's just not looking good for their bot side of the map. To them, it's probably just farm into turret and have Nautilus roam.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting at this stage of the game, because I agree, right? Rammus is having a tough time. Rammus is pretty item dependent, you know, especially because of how his passive works. You know, he definitely kind of needs that thorn mail because he doesn't really do damage otherwise, right? That taunt doesn't really do a whole lot. And I do agree that that putting more pressure onto this mid lane to kind of shut down the Yasuo to give yourself kind of like an opening into the rest of the team. Because if we take a look at the top lane, Malphite is building a tier item. They kind of have like a guaranteed power spike at this point. It doesn't really matter if you're killing Malphite. As long as he's getting stacks onto that tier, it doesn't quite matter, right? That Fimbulwinter is going to come, and that Fimbulwinter is coming.
That's a good one. Good one.
Yeah. I've been waiting all season.
I'm glad you got it.
Finally, it is time. But yeah, I mean, Malphite kind of has an assured power spike at this point. So don't even worry about the top half of the map. Like, sure, it's not going to be a great to kind of leave Malphite alone, especially at 0-2 right now. But you know, Malphite has a guaranteed spike. Diana's already doing very well. Chinggis, no, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
There can't be two in one game, brother.
They needed to just like pause for a second and just be like, okay.
Deep breath. Okay.
It's okay. You definitely were not on stream for that one. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Definitely watch you die. Definitely didn't happen. But speaking of, you know, something interesting, I think it was a very nice rotation from BVZ and Android down here just to walk over and collect that wave mid while Yasuo was backing, and it allowed them to get a very nice CS lead over their opponent, or maintain their CS lead over their opponent, especially since Kai'Sa was on reset. So, and look at that, the ping going down on the Rammus. They know exactly where this guy is at every single moment of the game. They don't have to worry about getting ganked here unless Jinja Bin just gets 6 here and then looks for an ultimate, and then potentially they could look to die. It's going to be a flash.
Oh yeah, that's a flash, exhaust, and a snare as well. Lesbian's diving already super far forward, but now BVZ is super free to just fire rockets from the back here. Jen Javin looking for a little bit more, but tanks a turret shot. Now is incredibly low. Ignite is ticking as well. Lesbanks is going to be picking up. That's going to be the rocket coming across as well. BVZ is so very low, but they can't find that last bit of damage. Here comes the rest of the team. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Everyone is here. Lesbanks is looking for the last bit of damage. You can't quite find it. BVZ lives to tell the tale. Squad fam looking for the kill under the big man. Gonna be able to find the kill. That's going to be a whole mess of kills going over to DePauw with only one in response for Rev.
Yep, and they used so much just to get that single kill, and almost got another kill on the BVZ, but very nice outplay on there. As we see in the top side, Raptor looking for the single target ultimate. Looking for Pink here.
Yeah, they're in the Shadow Realm. Yami no Gameu, but not going to be able to find any locator cards or star chips this time around. And with that kind of opportunity in the bot lane, they're going to be able to pick up this first Drake of the game about 11 minutes in. And oh, we're still fighting. Raptor?
So
okay.
Very low. I think he's waiting for that pass to go down so he can ult him, but I think Raptor reads what we're reading and is backing off very smartly. But
King Pink is definitely looking for
playing like a psychopath. Oh, he missed it.
Oh no!
Oh, that was a solo kill. But he flashed after
and missed the hook. Okay, well, we didn't miss Tibbers in the mid lane, but Android is just going to crash down out of there, and Rammus has to leave. Here comes Diana in from the side as well. Super Mega Death Rocket looking for Malphite. Not gonna find it either. King Pink's still looking to fight.
Oh, no. The minion.
No, King Pink, buddy. Oh no.
You hate to see it. You really do.
You hate to see it.
But going back, I just want to applaud Android's performance right now. I think he's playing super, super well on this rel, right? I think as we see Chinggis Kong potentially looking for a solo kill out there, I think he gets it.
Yeah, he should be able to do it. Raptor not going to be able to get that post-mitigation healing here, but here comes the rest of the team here. Rammus is here as well. Chinggis Khan looking for the dash through, but not going to be able to do it. Taunted up. Aftershock's going to pick up the kill here. Juan's going to save Raptor up the top lane.
Very nice little roam up there by the Nautilus to help collect that kill, and Juan getting a kill back, starting to put some more gold back onto the board into his own pockets, but this could be a very dead Kai'Sa unless they play this perfectly.
Yeah, Lesbanks has to be pretty careful here. As long as they're hitting the minions, they should be perfectly fine. Doesn't look like Android wants to dive anytime soon here, so looks like Lesbanks might be fine for now.
Yeah, especially not with Super Mega Death Rocket. But I think this could be a little bit of greedy play coming out from Juan. He doesn't have a top laner up there. His mid laner doesn't have priority, and Chinggis Khan is coming back into the area. So I think
I think Squad Fam smells something. Oh. Looks like he followed his nose, and now there's an armadillo here, but Looks like he's just wheeling himself out of there. I think blue team's just going to say thanks for the leash and grab Shelly.
Yeah, one thing that they don't know for the side of Revolution, that they didn't have ultimates on Diana, they didn't have ultimates on King Pink, but so it's not a really easy way to start off their wombo combo there. But it will be their bot lane rotating over from DePauw just to give them a little bit of space. And you know, this is one thing I want to applaud their bot lane. They're so willing to leave their lane and just cover for the other lanes to get advantages because they know that they don't realistically have to uh-oh, I'm gonna hold that thought here.
Yeah, Jinjabin might be in some trouble here. Android is coming in. Oh, yeah, okay. We got Yasuo and Diana coming down as well. Jinjabin's definitely in some trouble. There's the crash down. The hook is going to pull them closer. That's going to be a flash magnet storm as well. Jinjabin's got nowhere to go. So Chinggis Khan is going to be the one picking up the kill in the bot lane.
Yep, very, very nice stuff coming out from the bot lane. And again, I think they're just vastly outplaying the bot lane of Revolution here. They're just better in most respects. They're just willing to roam when necessary. They're willing to play the lane when necessary, and they're playing the lane collectively. And most importantly, Android is just everywhere. It feels like Android is really, whenever they make a huge play that's important, Android is there. He's either covering a lane or he's blocking for his AD carry, he's blocking or he's setting something up for everybody in the game. And it's just really super good play coming out from this rel here, and I really like what I see. I'm eager to see what happens as we go into this game. One thing I'm not quite as stoked on is King Pink missing the ultimate on the mouth fight, but you know what happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, for sure. And this is definitely looking pretty good for DePauw. I mean, when before the game started, you know, we were talking about how DePauw as a team has been doing. And
flash.
We're going to have to hold that. That's the depth charge coming across here. Exhaust as well. That's going to be the ultimate for Lespanx coming in. BVZ is looking real tough to be alive as a Jinx right now. That's going to be an easy kill picked up for Lespanx here. But that was a whole lot spent by Jinjabin, though. That was a flash, an ultimate, and an exhaust.
Yep, I mean, but at the end of the day, I think that's super worth it. You know, you're able to pick up that kill. You're able to get the shutdown off for the Jinx, and you're able to start putting damage down into that tier 1 of your own. And I like that a lot coming out from them. One thing that's not quite as good is EVZ didn't use any sums, so it's not like that additional, you know, gain that they got. So that's just kind of whatever, though. Like, their opponent didn't use it, so it's fine. But again, they're just going to walk down here with that wombo combo.
Yeah, there's the ultimate. There's the second to follow up. Lespanx goes down. Jinjabin nowhere to go. Double kill for the Yasuo. And that's going to be an easy pickup. This two-man squad coming down from the mid lane. Real tough. And if you take a look at the map, there is no wards from Rev to basically tell them that this is happening. And even if Annie notices, it might be a little too late. And now they're making their way back up, and Annie immediately has to retreat from this push in the mid lane.
Absolutely. Very smart play from MB4 here. But yeah, like you said, their ward coverage on both sides kind of rough, but more so on the side of Revolution, it's really rough. They should have seen that one coming, and I think it's a testament to the strategy of DePauw. They're really looking to lane aggressively and lane hard in the bot side, and then the other lanes are kind of wishy-washy, like top side and mid. They aren't necessarily looking to lane as hard because they realize, you know, we can just kind of go get advantages whenever we want. We can visit bot whenever we want. We can, as long as there's one winning lane, we can visit that lane whenever we want and look to get advantages that way. Or we can just all 5-man group mid, or we can all just 3-man top again. Like, they realize that their win con doesn't have to be through laning. Whereas on the other side of Revolution, they kind of have to get advantages through laning, and I think that's what Raptor's going for with the flash.
Yeah, Raptor is also going to pull him into the Shadow Realm. Yami no Gemu. King Pink is going to use that unstoppable force to try to get away, create some space. Going to be able to get away from Raptor in the top lane here as the first turret goes down finally. And that's going to be the stun coming out. They're looking for Jinjabin here, who's got nowhere to go. The hook does not land onto the wall. Going to use the depth charge. Heal coming out from Lespanx as well. Going to give him a little bit of movement speed. They got nowhere to go. So that's going to be a kill. Ooh, knock up into the mid lane. MB4 looking for some trouble. That's going to be the knockup. That's going to be the bear coming in. Yasuo goes down. Shut down for the Annie. Here comes Chinggis Khan up to the top lane now. Raptor is going to be in some trouble. Does not have that Yami no Gemu available. That's going to be the Moonfall coming down. Chinggis Khan is going to be the one picking up the kill in the top lane. And DePauw continues this kind of bloodbath across the map here.
Yeah, they don't mind trading kills in the mid lane, especially if it's only one kill. If they're able to find these type of advantages literally everywhere else, you know, up on the top side. But it's going to be a flash by MB4.
Yeah, that's going to be the stun coming through. BVZ already spending their flash, taking incredibly low here, looking for that last bit of damage. Not going to be able to find it this time. Flash forward by Lespanx trying to get that last auto attack. I'm having some deja vu here, but Lespanx is going to be the one picking up the kill onto Android in the mid lane.
Oh, the super mega death rocket from downtown. But look at Genghis Khan, he's flashing.
Yeah, that's the flash. Not going to be able to find it this time. We do have a teleport coming in from Mordekaiser. This mid lane is now a party. Everyone's here. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Interesting that everyone just kind of shows up, but it is fine at the end of the day. Very nice play from them to, get some gold back in their pocket onto Android, even though that wasn't quite the target they were looking for. Android, super good at peeling for this AD carry on BVZ. He's had his moments where he's at misposition, but whenever he's with Android, it does not matter. This man on Rel is a monster, and I think, looking at game 2, probably want to get him off of it. I think regardless of what he goes into, he can do a lot of work, just able to peel so effectively for his AD carry, and just not allow them to be killed quite as easily, because this one death was whenever he was away from Android, right? So I think as long as you keep Android and BVZ together, you're looking at a really rough time for the side of Revolution to get a kill on that Jinx.
Yeah, I mean, it's BVZ has been doing a very good job of spacing and making sure that they're very far away from the enemy team, and that's really important, because I think you mentioned this in Champ Select, that a lot of these champions very good at doing these kind of mid-range, kind of disruption stuff. So as long as Jinx is super far away, they're safe from Rammus ult, they're safe from Tibbers. It might even be safe from Kai'Sa bullets here, but that's going to be the depth charge coming across on a BVZ here, looking for that Jinx, but she's going to flash away, or dash away rather, kind of immediately. Rammus is coming in from downtown. Can they find the re-engage here? But they're safe underneath the turret for now.
Red team. Ram.
Yeah. Looking for that initiation. Can't quite find it, but they're making their way up to this Rift Herald.
Yeah, 5-man looking for the Rift Herald. What are you trading in terms of, CS waves and stuff like that? Is it going to be Gingerbin just running disruption a little bit, but he's taking pretty low.
Android here going to be pulled in with the Magnet Storm. That's going to be Yasuo diving in. Exhaust is good. That's going to be NB4 picking up a kill for themselves here. This might be the turnaround that Rev is looking for, but 1-2 fall. These HP bars on the blue team are looking real low, but they haven't been able to finish them off just quite yet. Jen Jabin looking to keep him around Lespanx for just a little bit longer. Kai'Sa finds another kill. Genghis Khan now has to run for their life. King Pink, we're looking to run for just a little disruption here, but Raptor looking for a little bit more here. It's 2v2, looking to collapse onto Mordekaiser. Looking for that last bit of damage, pulls him close. Kingpin immediately leaves Genghis Khan, re-engaged. There's the big circle. Can he find the damage? He's healing up a whole lot. Kingpin is looking to just run just a little bit of poke damage here and there, and that's enough to take down the big metal maniac. Mordekaiser goes down, and DePauw maintains their kill lead.
Very nice, but they're about to lose the first third of the game, but a lot of damage comes down with the Super Mega Nectar. Genghis Khan looking to cut him off.
Yeah, that's a 1-2 punch from the Diana here. Going to be the shutdown onto Kai'Sa. So, once again, DePauw here, even though they seem to have lost a whole lot in that fight, they still have managed to stay on top here. That's not even a fight that I think they lost here. Oh, no, one. Okay, that's going to be the stun coming across here. Looking for a little bit more. Yasuo's going to take that mid.
Oh, nice hook.
There's the re-engage from Jen Jabin here. Great
MB4.
depth charge as well. Immediate damage. MB4 coming out huge. Going to be able to shut down onto the Jinx here. For a minute more. That Moonfall is gigantic. Rammus has to run for their life. Nice knock-up. Going to keep Jen Jabin from hooking onto that wall. No Spider-Man today. They're going to be taking up the kill this time around. 1-for-1 in this bot lane here. In this river.
Yeah. And one thing I just kind of, even though DePauw is winning these fights so handily, one thing I just want to kind of a little bit criticize is Squad Fam's unwillingness to drop the ultimate, right? There was a time in the other fight where I don't think he could have. I think he was stunned up, but this time he was definitely in range. He had the ability to press R on multiple people, but we're going to get a replay of this Rift Herald fight, and this is what I'm looking at. You have to just ult the Kai'Sa right there at that exact moment instead of looking for these multi-man ultimates, because that just happens. You get stunned up, you get exhausted, and then you can't look for any more ultimates, and you just die with ult up and Yasuo, and it feels really bad, and your team has to really struggle to make up for that kind of loss, as it was a scrappy fight. It was a very scrappy fight. Both sides trading so much back and forth, but at the end of the day, it is DePauw who came out on top just because they managed to stop the Rift Herald getting taken by the side of Revolution. Raptor, you can escape a little bit.
Yeah, Raptor might be in some trouble here. Mordekaiser not exactly known for his escapability, but he is known for his way to use ancient Egyptian magic to pull them into the Shadow Realm. Chinggis Khan gonna go golden here as they've come out of the Amino game. Great re-engage, great ultimate, great moonfall, super mega death rocket come on sometimes on top of them as well. Double kill, triple kill now for the Diana. Can they get the Quadra? Yes, well, picks it up for the ace. A full sweep, a clean ace for DePauw as they move on to the Baron. 22 minutes in.
Very nice stuff. About 5,000 in terms of gold for their lead, and that's definitely going to be ballooning when they finally pick up that Baron. But super well played coming up from the squad. A very nice Zhonya's at the very end of that Mordekaiser ultimate to keep themselves alive from Chinggis Khan. Then they just re-engage off of a King Pink ultimate, and we're going to look at it again. He's going to Zhonya's right here as soon as he comes out, and then they can no longer do anything. They just group up, and he gets the single target Yasuo ultimate. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what Squad Fan needs to be doing this entire game, because it allows them to get tempo into a fight. They can immediately delete one person and look to get the reset on Jinx quite right away, and then they can keep continuing the fight going forward. But we hop back into live game, and this Jinjabin dropping the Death Charge just to kind of disengage a little bit, but a full reset coming out from the DePauw squad, and expect a lot of buys.
Yeah, definitely looking interesting right now, but DePauw doing very well. They've got now a 6,000 gold lead at 23.5 minutes. This is looking to be some pretty good territory to make up a whole lot of take a lot of these turrets here. You know, with the Baron buff, they can definitely take a lot. Oh yeah, holy moly, gold. If we take it, this is definitely a really good opportunity to take a lot of these take this last outer turret as well as some of these inner turrets as well. That mid inner turret looking pretty low right now, so definitely a good opportunity to do so as Chinggis Khan, holy moly, popping everything trying to find Spanx there. Not going to be able to find it this time though.
That was a really good flash from Spanx just to keep himself alive, but at the end of the day, you only trade a single knockup for one flash, so can you dodge the other knockups? Who knows? Yeah. There are going to be at least 3 more coming your way, and it's gonna be a rough one for this Jinx. But one thing they're doing a lot better than DePauw is their macro. Maybe micro is a little bit rougher, but their macro, they're keeping them at bay. They're not letting them push tier mid 3 quite as easily, not letting them push tier 1 top, and their bot side is kind of AFK. No one's really been down there for quite a minute, and I think that works out perfectly well in their favor. They're able to they're able to just collect these waves coming in that are just being ushered in by this Baron buff, and with only a few seconds or about 30 seconds remaining on the Baron buff, I doubt they'll get too much out of it unless they really make a concerted effort to shove in multiple waves at once.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen DePauw pick up the Baron buff, but they haven't really done a whole lot with it. We saw them before they reset. They were just kind of dancing around and putting wards up around the Dragon Pit. Like, they weren't pushing any waves. They weren't like 1-3-1 splitting. Like, if their goal was to set up for this next Hextech Drake, like 1-3-1 splitting would have definitely done it, because it would have drawn Rev's attention away from the river and given them enough time. Like, they could have just walked away and placed these wards as they were leaving and resetting for the next Drake. But so far, they just haven't done anything with this Baron buff. They've just like pushed in a couple waves, but really haven't taken anything. And now it's gone, and they don't have any turrets to show for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was only around 1,200 Baron power play, but they do secure so much control over this bottom side of the map, and it's really just going to be on Revolution to face check multiple angles. And they're going to be in a dangerous spot if they do that.
Yeah, immediately spotted out here. Not going to be able to find an intro into this fight here, but King Pink has found Jen Jabin. Here comes Rammus. He's spinning up, but it looks like he's going to get out of the ball just yet, so no team wants to do a full initiation just yet. They have to be careful. Vanny does have the stun charge. There's Android going to get the crash down. There's the huge 3-man ultimate. Yami no Gameu Raptor's going to pull them into the Shadow Realm here. Looking for the 1v1. BBZ's in some trouble, flashing around the fight. Raptor is pulled back into the mortal realm, and it's 5v1 as the rest of the team has fallen. Dragon goes down. They have the Hextech Soul, and now they get the second ace of the game, 26-40 into it.
Yeah, they just are winning off of the strength of their team comp. They are just bringing them in, and they're saying, you know what, we're just gonna wait for you guys to come into us, because once you guys do, You can't get out and you can't escape. I think NB4 had a really good play, flashing past the engage directly onto BVZ here. We're going to get a quick replay as I describe it. And Android looking to start up the fight with the team. And it's going to be a flash in from King Pink right here. Gets the multi-man ultimate. And look at NB4 right there on the side. But I think what happened a little bit there was a little bit of miscommunication from Raptor and NB4, because they could have gone for the Jinx. They could have killed the Jinx. They could have popped the Jinx instantly. But like I said, he pulled her into the Shadow Realm, which kept her away from the stun flash of Tibbers and the Ignite. So we were just able to keep that Jinx alive, and what really won them the fight thing I think.
Yeah, as Nautilus Spanx is caught on the wrong end of a fed Diana here.
Come on, man. You can't ego like that.
Excuse me?
You can't ego like that.
Come on, man. Like,
oh well. I mean, when you're 2-2, I guess you don't want more KDA. Said no League of Legends player after.
Yeah, said no League of Legends player. Correct.
Oh man,
I definitely do not want to pad my stats.
Definitely don't want to look better.
Yes, said no League of Legends player ever. Correct.
Yeah, that one's a rough play to miss that, especially when you burn so many resources to get that. But I guess you just want to look cool, throw a Q as you walk away. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Just that Kaisa survives, escapes, has to blow, I think, heal and ultimate to do so. But I think that's still a worthy cause to do so, as they have complete control of this Baron side. 4 minutes to spawn, and they're just going to be valuing up, getting some gold on themselves, and again, daring the side of Revolution to face check this. But I think when you're 10,000 gold down, you never face check it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're making their way over towards the Baron pip right now, but that's got to be a mistake. Like you might be able to catch them out. You might be able to find something cheeky, but like it's overall, it's less than a coin flip at this point, just because you're right. It's more than 10,000 gold difference. And now like DPU has to use this opportunity to end the game.
Yeah, I think you really, even despite the strength of your team comp and team fights, I really don't know. It's always a risky situation to try and coin flip Elder, right? It always feels really bad, no matter how far you are ahead, because it's just like, well, what if they do get the surprise Smite steal? What if they do win the game off of that? And it really just feels bad to try and coin flip Elder. So if they definitely want to win it right here, or secure such an advantageous position that when Elder does pop up in about 3 minutes or so, it's not anywhere close.
Yeah. And it's going to be really hard for Rep to really clear these waves. I think we mentioned this before, that they have a whole lot of AP damage on their team, and Baron buff does give them... Ooh, wait a minute. Rammus ultimate coming in here. One's in a whole lot of trouble. Not a whole lot of follow-up for the rest of the team. That's going to be the Bear coming across, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage here. BVZ's going to be the one picking up the kill on the Juan, and now they picked up the kill on the Annie as well. Nautilus is going to be the next to fall. Depth charge comes across, but it's too little too late. Raptor's going to be able to pull them into the Shadow Realm here. Maybe find a 1-for-1. Maybe slow them down for just a little bit longer. Maybe delay the game to give his team just a little bit more of an opportunity. But while he's battling Chinggis Khan, the rest of the team is battling the base. On one Nexus turret goes down. The second is surely to follow, and game number 1 goes over to DePauw Esports.
They made that look easy. It was chef's kiss. That's exactly what you want to see. They had a few hiccups here and there, a few minor misplays in the mid lane especially, and in the top lane especially, but everywhere else I think it was a really, really solid game, especially from the bot lane. Android, BVZ on the Jinx, and even Chinggis Khan up there in the jungle. But I'm worried a little bit. What if this team comp gets banned out by Revolutions in the next game? There were those moments when I did have my doubts. It was when there was a lull in the action. The very first Baron buff I remember talking about how low, the amount of gold they actually got off of the play was, and it's just kind of shows that their macro sense isn't quite all there just yet, and they need to be very worried because again, if they fail to outdraft, they fail to get that comfort, I think Revolution has a very real chance of coming back and really winning this game. So if I'm DePauw here, I'm celebrating, of course, but I'm still kind of hesitant to go all out in those celebrations.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of DePauw Esports versus Revolution Esports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shenggold, and I'm joined by Arlen. And we're about to get picks and bans of Revolution Esports up against DePauw University, ready to go in just a little bit. Game one saw the win of DePauw sporting their press R all at the same time, and let's kill them comp, as I like to call it. We had a big wombo combo comp for DePauw here. Revolution Esports kind of sporting the same thing, but not able to get themselves off the ground. DePauw Esports getting a whole bunch of victories fairly early on in very key characters, and then being able to win the game through lots of very strong vision control, as well as good neutral objective wins. Now we're getting into game number two. Arlen, what are your predictions coming in to this picks and bans phase coming up?
Well, of course, more than likely we're going to see the Orin getting taken away because, like you said, it's what the man plays and it just makes sense to me. But now I think Revolution will be getting that ban back since they resubbed back out Jinjibin, so they will have their full bans available, and I think you have to use it to take away a key aspect of the Diana Yasuo Malphite Rel combo, and that's got to be the Yasuo. So I think they're more likely looking at to ban the Rel, ban the Yasuo, ban away the Ornn, and look to go from there. And on the side of DePauw, I think you can keep the bench strategy relatively the same. I don't think there were any picks in there that kind of gave them too much of an issue. Maybe the Mordekaiser, but I don't think trading away any of your other picks is worth it to get rid of that champion. So I think they can keep their ban strategy relatively similar. Maybe just toss in a Jinx just so they don't get it on blue side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only other big problem for the only other pick problem that for DePauw, I think, was in that mid lane against the Annie.
Mhm.
Like Annie, I think, was the only winning lane with that team. But that I think that's just fine, right? Like
Yeah.
Annie is a champion that's very, very good early. And in those first few levels where Yasuo is not exactly leveling Windwall, right? In that first level one, level two, Annie is gonna get some big advantages and then be able to scale at least a little bit better than Yasuo in this kind of very early levels. But then once the team fights start happening, Yasuo is going to be a lot easier to execute on. As now we're getting into picks and bans, and there's the Ornn ban right off the bat, just like you thought.
Absolutely, yeah. Get rid of the Ornn, and that's a smart banning away from DePauw, and then Evolution opting to take away the Victor and Thresh, and then interesting. I still think you don't want to give them the opportunity to give that team comp run it back again because it's such an easy team comp to really use and really master at such low levels, and it could be a rough one if they get the Rel again because, like I said, Android is such a genius on the Rel. Really just the MVP for me in terms of this bot lane down here and between all four people. But we're gonna have to see how they stack up against the starting roster member for Revolution Esports on the support.
Yeah.
Eager to see how that changes up the dynamic just a little bit as we finish up in phase one here.
Yeah, for sure. Is now we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty solid. A lot of these picks and bans here looking pretty similar as to what we saw before. DePauw, yeah, the Revolution does have one more ban, I believe,
Yes.
right? Because they use these, yeah, of course. And so now they have the last ban here, going to be Hover and Gangplank for now. Hecarim's going to be the one
Very
locked
nice.
in. So now Revolution Esports with the first pick. Let's see what they're looking for this team comp here.
Yeah, I think Hecarim could be a little bit, is a little bit of a bait pick in my opinion. I think if you can play it, great, but he draws too much draft resources. A solid 40 to 60% to play optimally, right? That means two lanes or a support plus a lane to play him effectively to really get the most value out of him. And they're gonna run back a DePauw's team comp potentially as Revolution is the team to pick up the Diana.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, Diana seems to be a pretty priority pick for both of these teams here, especially after the performance in that last game there. Diana, not exactly a pretty complex champion to pilot. So, obviously, there are going to be some folks who are going to be really good. But Diana, you press Q, you press E, you dash in, you press the moonfall, and if you get two people, you do a bunch of damage. So Diana, not the hardest to execute on, so even if you're not super comfortable on the champion, it's still a champion that'd be like, hey, we need a fourth ban. Let's pick up this Diana here so we can take a powerful pick away from DePauw Esports, and they're going to answer with the Jinx and the Nocturne.
Interesting. I was wondering maybe do you stop the idea before it happens in the tracks by taking away a powerful pick that was a part of it. Maybe just pick the Yasuo for yourself or pick the Malphite for yourself or even pick a counter into it, which is very obviously the Poppy, right? Can't dash through her. Or even a Cassiopeia, very strong into the Yasuo and really makes the Yasuo reconsider his life choices. But they instead pick the Nocturne. So they say, we'll meet you halfway. You can't get your combo off if you can't see the champions you're ulting. So very nice. And if you first pick Diana, you're giving up the Jinx. So DePauw, again, gets that super strong pick into their hands. And they're going to opt to counter pick it with a Sivir, not a champion we see often. And I think, honestly, one of the very few last weak ADCs. I think every other ADC has their place to shine, their moment to really showcase off their strengths, and I think Sivir and possibly Lucian are the last two ones that are the weakest currently.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. I think I'm not too bent out of shape about the Sivir pick. I do agree that Sivir is not exactly in a place where she can really shine right now. She doesn't really have that kind of like super hard like carry style that like a lot of the AD carries that are very powerful right now can do, right? A lot of folks say like the meta right now is to funnel all of your resources into your AD carry and make sure that they can pop off into this kind of late game. Sivir doesn't really do that as well as some other champions, right? With a lot of resources, Sivir will be good, but not as well as say a level 18 Caitlyn or a Jinx or even a Kai'Sa even. These kind of very, very late game. Zeri is another one that comes to mind, that these kind of very late game that if you pour a lot of resources in them can do very well. On the other hand, Revolution, after that last kind of bot lane here, if they're looking to play that Jinx again on DePauw, and if the bot lane for Revolution falls behind, then Sivir kind of is in this kind of sweet spot where if she falls behind, she's not like dead weight, right? She still has a very powerful ultimate that can provide a lot of utility for the rest of the team and can stick pretty close and survive pretty long in these team fights to at least throw out some decent chip damage for someone who might be more fed to carry through the team fight.
And I think DePauw is reading what Evolution wants to do quite well. They opt for the Poppy into the Shin matchup. So very nice stuff. It's going to really make that Shin's life very difficult. But to what you were saying about funneling resources in, I agree with you 100%. It really is just about getting the Jinx or the Caitlyn or the Kai'Sa to 3 items and letting them run the show. And for Sivir, it's kind of just getting to 300 CS. And then at 6 items, she really can start pumping out the damage at an insane rate from a safe distance. But before then, she really feels rough, but with sufficient wave clear to really keep yourself afloat. But it will be Galio into Orianna in the mid lane, or maybe a Galio support. We're going to have to see for this last pick from DePauw. But what does Revolution line pick here for their support? Could be a rough call if it's something that's going to be going to Galio.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely pretty tough. I mean, if you're looking for Sivir here, there are a lot of things. Ooh, Malphite. This tells me this possibly is support Shen. In which case, that does not feel good to go into Galio, in my opinion. Just diving right into like sure, you have a taunt, but Galio just has so much burst damage that you really can't efficiently deal with, especially at these kind of low levels as well. Galio is a very strong champ and possibly could do well, but okay. It's a Karma. Okay, so we still have some things up in the air. I'm going to assume it's Poppy top, Galio mid, Karma bot. That's my guess.
That makes 100% sense to me. But if it is just in support, which I don't think you can really flex Malphite into the support quite as effectively. So if it is just in support, we haven't seen him for quite a long time. Yeah, he's just hasn't been in the best spot in the support role, especially when he's going to be going into a potential Karma support. He's more likely just going to get poked out until it's time to go in, and then it might be just like last game where Ginjibin was the one getting poked out and forced off of the wave and trying to look for engage angles and just wasn't able to do it. But it is a different play this time. Thanatos coming in to fill that support role for the side of Revolution. So we will have to see which one's going bot, which one's going support, and which one's going top.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is going to be because Galio still, I think we've mentioned a couple times that Galio still can kind of flex between those couple of roles. But man, the support picks for Revolution, I'm not exactly too thrilled about either of them, right? Like you can argue that Malphite might be able to support, like if they just take a Spell Thief's Edge and just sit there and cast Q over and over again, like maybe like old school season 2 Nunu support and like sit in a bush and just throw out like your Q at people. But like it's just I'm not a fan of the Shen I would have liked Shen in a solo lane because that
Mm.
means that he can definitely get the items that he needs in order to perform effectively as he gets later into this game. But I will say, however, there are a lot of support items that like don't seem good on Shen, but are really good on Shen. Like Redemption is
Yeah.
great on Shen, really, really good on Shen.
Very, very nice on most engaged sports. And Shin, when he's played in the support role, is generally the main engage or main disengage. So regardless, I very, very nice pickup if he techs towards that redemption there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just, like you said, I'm just not really a fan of the team comp of Revolution. It feels like they tried to copy a little bit of what DePauw was trying to do, but I think DePauw answered it very well. They have vacuum counter picks in everywhere they need to.
Yeah.
They make it hard for them to follow up on their ultimates with the the paranoia. They make it hard to follow up on their ultimates with the Galio ultimate and with the Galio taunt and all Galio in general. They make it hard for them to follow up because Poppy in general. Yeah, and then their bot lane's just lacking that real synergy that DePauw has, a Jinx plus a Karma. Run them down or run away, right? That's Jinx Karma's whole thing. And then for Sivir, it's kind of run them down, but then Shin's like, well, I want to peel and disengage for you, and then we can try to fight like that. So it's kind of rough on the Russian bot lane. So I just have to get that over DePauw.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big thing to me is that DePauw drafted Poppy into a Diana, a Sivir, and a Shen, and then was followed up by Malphite and Orianna here. So even though they have this kind of all delivery service and have very powerful AoE ultimates for this Diana, Poppy presses one button and suddenly this entire composition just doesn't work. Right? And that's the big thing that shouts out to me here, right? That once you dive in, there's a whole bunch of things that DePauw can do in order to counter this kind of 5-man comp that they've put together here. A lot of these characters are powerful, and I don't want to discount that right here, but Poppy and even to a degree Nocturne, I think you mentioned this as well, that you can just turn off the lights and then suddenly a lot of these targeted ultimates don't do so well, do they? Yeah. Right? And then Galio as well also does a decent job of just kind of like, oh, hey, you're now all in melee range. Would be a shame if you were all taunted. Wouldn't that be a shame? And since he's going mid, he's going to have a lot of damage to follow up on that as well. There's just a lot of things in DePauw's pockets here with regards to their team composition that makes it really hard for Revolution to really execute on their idea as effectively as they'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing also to highlight just a little bit is, this Karma is going to be a real menace to society, right? Like, how do you punch through the Mantra shield on a single target? On the side of Revolution, I think you have a lot of burst damage, you have a lot of multi-man ultimates, but if Karma isn't the one being focused, if Karma isn't the one being picked, I think everyone generally have enough HP or enough shields or enough people responding in the case of BVZ that to survive. So it's really got to be Android first, then everyone else on the team of DePauw. And if you can't cut through that Karma, then Revolution is going to be in a really sticky situation once all their ultimates are gone, and then they just have to left to fight with raw abilities, because I just don't think their team comp is synergistic outside of the ultimates.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I don't want to like toot this horn a little too much. I think we're both in agreement here that DePauw has a lot of tools to really stop a lot of what Revolution is doing, and that they also have tools within themselves to really continue this kind of idea of, hey, BVZ, you're our hyper carry, we're going to protect you. They formed a line of scrimmage between Galio and Poppy. They have a secondary carry with regards to Nocturne, and then they have shielding if something goes awry with Android as well. Like, this is just a very, very good team comp and a very, very good draft here from DePauw in game number 2.
Absolutely. But with that, last thought, we will be taking it to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, folks. It is Revolution down 1-0 versus DePauw. It's really anyone's game at this point.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift, and welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Arlen, and we are on the Rift of Revolution Esports up against DePauw University. Game number 2. This is DePauw's series to win, and they're up a game right now, and it's up to Rev to maybe turn this into a game 3, but it's already started off with not the greatest of drafts for Revolution Esports here. And, you know, I don't think it was completely convinced by game number 1. So, it's not looking too good for Revolution Esports right now.
Yeah, definitely not. And one thing that you can say we hope for is just superior laning. We already saw that MB4, in the mid lane, can outlane Squad Fam. Squad Fam more than willing to play these sort of flex pieces that play for the team, and with the Yasuo, with the Galio willing to be picked up here, that's a good thing and all, but MB4 really needs to flex their laning prowess over their opponent and look to expand that into other lanes. Lispanks and haven't seen Thanatos play yet, so maybe they can outlane BVZ and Android together, but Lispanks alone we've seen, and not quite the best in the world when it comes to laning against BVZ here. And then top side, it's 2 tanks, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, I think they're going to be hitting each other a whole lot. I think Malphite might have a little bit of a better time against Poppy because that Q spam is just a lot easier to execute on. Chinggis, oh come on, bud.
Oh, don't do it again.
He's already playing so dangerously. He died to Gromp last time. Please don't die to Gromp already.
I think he gets it this time. He does have smite. It's going to be a close one.
God, oh no. Oh my God.
Okay.
He plays it so close every time. It gives me a heart attack.
It's pretty darn scary. But one thing I will highlight is that it does look like they will get level 2 in the bot lane first, but with how far back Android and BVZ are playing, they can't do anything off of that, which is a little bit of a shame, but it is fine overall. And like we said, Wet Noodles fighting each other up here on the top side. Absolutely nothing happens realistically until 6, so we shouldn't expect to see any solo kills or first bloods up here unless it's a jungler involved. But speaking of the junglers, both of them pathing towards the top side, both of them looking to meet around the Scuttle Crab, both of them looking to influence this top side of the map, or even mid lane. So it's going to be interesting what we're going to see between these two, and maybe even see a pretty big fight break out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this top side of the map has proven to really have some carry potential here, and getting Poppy online and be able to have Poppy leave that lane and influence other sides of the map is going to be very important, especially against Revolution Esports, who has a lot of dashes, has a lot of things that this Poppy can block. So just by getting Poppy a little bit online means a much easier mid game, and then by virtue of that, just a much better late game if this game goes that late.
Absolutely. It's going to be hard trading up here on the top side again, but look at that. It's going to be Genghis Khan looking to snatch that away from Juan, and that's one sad Diana. So we don't see the faded Scuttle Crab fight, but maybe a little bit of a harassment in the mid lane here. And I think that's perfectly fine for the side of DPU here. They just want the Nocturne to hit level 6 as fast as possible so that gank actually means something and not just, like we said, a little bit of harassment. And I think that's what you just look for the side of Revolution as well. You just want your Poppy. Oh, this could be a solo kill.
Raptor slammed into the wall here. Not a whole lot of places to go. King Ping has to flash away. Let's see if they're looking for a little bit more. Absolutely going to give themselves some movement speed as well. Wow. There's that last auto attack they were looking for. Poppy picks up first blood of the top lane.
Wow, was not expecting that. Poppy does have the percent health damage. I think it's 8% total if she lands both Qs, and using that to her advantage, just able to pick up a very, very easy kill up here. First blood and solo kill, so not bad. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much until all of a sudden, you have a Poppy walking out of lane with 3-4 kills. So as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think it influences this game too much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely looking to be already a decent start for DePauw here, and honestly, I think I really like that up in the top lane here, because Malphite's coming to lane with no defense and no combat stats basically at all. He's coming back to lane with a tier. So if Poppy really wanted to, could probably do that again, right? And especially because they're coming back with a Sheen and a Null Magic Mantle. Like, this is a lot of stuff that's going to orient themselves really, really well for fighting one more time. But speaking of fighting, that's a flash, that's a taunt. Thanatos is looking for some more. Android, that's going to be the dash looking forward here. The tether's going to come across. Shen can't move anymore. They're looking for that last bit of damage, not going to be able to find it this time. BVZ gets out of the way. A-okay.
Yep, and that's 2 Summoner Spells, traded for 2 Summoner Spells. You know, the Exhaust Flash versus the Flash Ignite. So, not too much. You know, Android and BBZ, they're impressed about it. They feel like they got, you know, enough. And that enough, what I mean by that is the vision. They know where Juan is. They know that he was just on the bot side of the map. And they know that, you know, right now that they're opposite. So, Chinggis doing exactly what I was about to talk about. Looking for another solo kill or even a potentially dive up here in the top side, and I think that's just so smart, especially when you know Diana's bot. And he can just walk up here, throw a Q out, maybe an auto attack or something like that, and I don't think he lives. But instead he's just looking to do a little bit of counter jungle and grab up that Grom. Maybe even look for potentially level 6 on the Nocturne. You just have to wait and see.
And this is a good spot too. Chinggis, even if Juan finds them out here, I don't think Malphite can do a whole lot to help. Here comes the Galio. Yeah, that's going to force the flash away from Juan here. Going to have to use the Blast Cone away as well. They're still looking for the Diana here. It's going to throw out a little bit of extra damage. Oriana's here to answer. But all 3 members of the red team are here to escort that Nocturne out of there. Going to pick up Grom, pick up some flashes on the way out. That's a pretty big pickup for DePauw here pretty early on.
Yeah, and DePauw just playing like we saw in the last game, like absolute maniacs in this early game, willing to blow resources, willing to waste time to help out their jungler or solo laner or whoever they may be, and just looking to really put some pressure down on these guys early. And oh, he didn't quite find the stun. He's dead.
Yeah, not exactly what they were looking for. 1 for 1 up in the top lane, but still, I think I still give it to Poppy, right? You're still coming back to lane a lot more powerful than the Malphite. Malphite hasn't really been able to farm as well. They're coming back to lane with a Bomby Cinder, which is going to keep him alive for just a little bit longer. But, you know, once again, Poppy is still a whole lot of damage, and there's not a whole lot of resistances on this Malphite just quite yet.
Yeah, he is out farming him, but like we said, the Poppy is just able to find these solo kills where realistically it's probably lane where he shouldn't be able to find these solo kills. And I think, you know, that was a risky play, but that's how you have to play Poppy, like an absolute maniac, and I respect it. You know, as a former Poppy one trick, my heart goes out to him.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna be seeing Hullbreaker Poppy this time around?
I hope not. I really hope not. I think
no one, the people on stream can't hear it, but our producer just went, "Please no."
Oh, but even as that happens,
you got the Nocturne ultimate coming across. Genghis Khan is in the bot lane here. They're going to have some of that damage blocked up here. But Thanatos is taken incredibly low here. Not going to be able to go anywhere just quite yet. Genghis Khan's going to be the one picking up the kill in the bot lane. Here comes the rest of the blue team. Rev is looking just for a little bit more. That's going to be the dash. There's going to be...
Oh, they missed the Oriana ultimate.
Oh, yeah. A little too soon on the command shockwave here. Android is taken pretty low here. Juan's going to be able to find that kill there. Maybe they can find the kill into Genghis Khan as he's re-engaged through the river here. BVZ taken pretty low. But once again, these HP bars are real low, but no quite kills just yet. King Pink up, meanwhile, up in the top lane, looking for the kill into Raptor here. Actually able to turn it around pretty well here. Not going to get the solo kill that they've been looking for this whole time, but still able to hold their own.
Very nice play down the bot side, immediately popping the level 6 Paranoia, looking for the ultimate. I think, you know, it was a misplay because they just weren't able to verify where the Oriana was. They weren't able to verify that Juan was on the bot side of the map, and that's what led to their downfall, losing just Android in that whole play and exchange and the flash on Genghis Khan. But overall, a nice play, and I think you just have to give it over to the side of DePauw just because they got a kill on the Nocturne, and with the Nocturne already having a CS advantage over the Diana, it's just a net positive overall. But the goal doesn't quite reflect that. Both teams really sitting evenly despite one more kill in the favor of DePauw.
Yeah, I mean, DePauw is still doing a pretty good job in this early game right now. You can take a look at this gold lead right now, and even though a couple times Rev has been able to grab it, kind of very briefly has been able to grab that gold lead for just a little bit of time, DePauw is still holding on to this very early lead so far. Gold is kind of tied up at the moment here, but we've seen what DePauw can do. We've seen them be able to willing to roam around the map. Let's see if they're able to continue this kind of very roaming streak and move around this gold a whole lot.
I think right now they're just looking for first item on this Jinx here, just looking to get her out of this lane so they can move her mid and then really look to start to flex their team comp, really just looking to move everyone around the map at multiple times. And I think they're looking for a gank up here on Raptor, but especially since they see Swan.
Yeah, King Pink is in some trouble here. That's going to be the paranoia coming across. Poppy's taken incredibly low, going to use that ultimate. Now Malphite is running for the life. Chinggis Khan is going to be able to pick up one kill. Here comes the Galio in from the side. Stand United is coming across as well, but it's not going to be able to go to anyone as Chinggis Khan picks up the second kill here. NB4 now has to run for their lives. It's a 2v1. Might be able to play some interference on this Rift Herald here. They have to be careful. Command Shockwave comes across. Chinggis Khan taking an incredibly low spell shield, going to block a little bit of the damage. Has to flash away from the taunt. Gives himself a little bit more space. Shelly still pulled here, so Chinggis Khan taking a decent chunk of damage. Squad fam taking incredibly low here too. They have to be careful. Oh, Orianna is no slouch when it comes to damage, and both of those HP bars are pretty low.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call. Just at the end of the day, you know, Command Shockwave was already used. However, like you said, Orianna has the blasting wand, has the damage, and really is looking to pump that out and really just looking to poke you down while you're trying to take that Herald. So smart move overall, just to say, you know what, we're not going to force it. Just back off. Take what we came to get, and that was 2 kills on the Nocturne. Already has the Axe and Mark as Squad fam gets so dangerously low, but looks to back here. Will have the teleport relatively soon, so I don't think he loses too much of anything. But again, with the Axe and Mark looked to picked up, he's just going to start slamming those ultimates out. You happen to a quick replay here. It started off with a very nice stun coming out from King Pink. He realizes that he has to bait this in, but unfortunately used his Poppy W just a little bit too soon. If he had held on to that ability, could block that ultimate and potentially survive. But like we said, Chinggis Khan gets these 2 kills off that play, and I think this is where honestly everything could have ended, and they would have been sitting very, very happy.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, I agree with that as well. I mean, just grabbing those 2 kills and then just realizing like, hey, this Orianna's here, our HP is pretty low. Let's not do anything too drastic quite yet. I know the Rift Herald's right there and the jungler's dead, but you know, we've already got the win. We don't need this. We don't need anymore else here.
Absolutely. But yeah, now we shift our focus to bot side of the map, and both teams jostling around this Drake, looking to get priority in the mid lane. And one thing I want to highlight is that in B4, I don't think they've had the opportunity to reset yet. You know, I think they may have reset, but I'm not quite sure. I wasn't checking mid lane. But one person who did get to reset was Squad Fam. He already used his teleport to get back to lane. So if it does come down to a fight around this Drake, you just kind of have to give it over to the side of DePauw just off of that superior reset. And here's the play.
Oh, yeah, that's a great taunt and paranoia combo. Command Shockwave comes across, maybe giving themselves a little bit of space, but now they have to contend against 3 members of Rev here. That's a great Moonfall, have to flash away, but Chinggis Khan taking incredibly low. Great taunt on the Squad fam, going to try to get away with that. Justice Punch cannot go through champions. Going to try to give themselves a little bit more to work with, but they can't get away from it this time. 2 for 1 so far. The bot lane of DePauw has made their way up, but they're too little too late. Looks like Rev is going to be the one picking up the first Drake here at about 13 minutes in.
A very nice play, but really uncharacteristic of DePauw not having their bot lane to be the first one to rotate. And I think that is the power of the Sivir, the wave clear early on, able to push in even someone as strong as Jinx in terms of wave clear. And like I said, very uncharacteristic of DePauw not having their bot lane there for a play like that. And very, very interesting. And you have to imagine maybe this happens repeatedly over the game, but it's going to be potentially an all-in from the Poppy here, but misses that last Q and decides it's not worth it.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of commitment there from King Pink. I don't know if you get the kill there if you land that Q. Like, you take him pretty low, but I don't know if that was actual kill territory, so I don't know if I like devoting the ultimate to that play as well. Like, that's a pretty long cooldown on that ultimate, and that's a pretty good ultimate as well, not being able to utilize it if there's a fight coming up relatively soon. So there's still a Rift Herald on the top half of the map, and if Chinggis Khan wants to make a play up there, especially with Galio as this kind of like Galio delivery service, you know, it's definitely a really good combo that they have that they could use to make plays on the top half of the map.
Absolutely. Plays at the top half of the map. I think that's all you really can hope for at this moment, because like we said, a whole lot of nothing down here in the bot side, especially when they just reset. Top side, you're actually down in CS, so even though he's been solo kill a few times, Raptor managed to keep up in CS or exceed the CS of this Poppy here. And I think that might just be King Pink's focus on trading just a little bit too heavily. Coming back to bite him just a little bit there. But to your point about focusing topside, you're absolutely right. You have to try and get some advantages, but we do see a lane gank coming in from Diana.
Yeah, that's a great unstoppable force. Oh man, they have the Stand United as well. King Pink in a whole lot of trouble here. Looking to maybe split, divide and conquer here, but not going to be able to get it this time as Rev finally gets a gold lead in their advantage in this series so far, and they're going to look for this Rift Herald right now, too. Ooh, Paranoia. Command Shockwave comes out across as well. Genghis Khan looking for the Diana here, taking incredibly low, going to smite Shelly for a little bit of healing, but pulls them in. Super Mega Death Record comes across, and Squad Fam is looking real low here, and that's going to be a bunch of kills going over to Rev here, as now they're going to pick up this Rift Herald as well.
I think that was a wrong play to make from the side of DePauw, and I think you should have just realized that you were down a person, right? You realized that it was a 4v2. It really more than likely wasn't going to work out, even with the item advantage. Maybe just look for a bot lane play. The Sivir all alone, Stand United, doesn't exist anymore, not available to the Shin, and sacrifice the Rift Herald for potentially a bot lane tier 1 plus a kill onto this Jinx, and I think that would have equalized out that play overall, and maybe just now they're starting to realize that the Spanx jumped in pretty hard.
Yeah, this is definitely a real tough position to be in if you're DePauw here. I mean, before they had a pretty solid lead, and they were, once this gold started to even out and Rev started to become wise to how DePauw has been playing, and especially up in this top lane, King Pink has been playing pretty aggressive on this Poppy. Juan basically coming up into this top lane and saying, hey, this Poppy's been playing really aggressive, shoving in the wave and going for a lot of all-ins. Why don't I punish her while she's doing that? And that's been a very good way of getting some gold into this Diana's pockets. 4, 2, and 3 now. 110 CS. This Juan Cena here looking really, really comfy right now for this gold.
Absolutely. But one thing that just want to point out, want to focus on, is that the advantage in the bot side isn't quite as big as you want it to be, as we see Swan Cena walk up there, but Genghis Khan isn't there to answer. But this advantage in the bot lane that you have for the Sivir, she does have the 150 gold shutdown, but she isn't, you know, beating out this Jinx in terms of gold by that much overall, and it's pretty rough. And so yeah, we see he does have about 400 gold over him, which is just one kill, right? Or one first blood rather, and it can be a rough situation to have when your hyper carry, the one that you really want to boost up, just isn't head and shoulders above the enemy hyper carry. So really just looking at BVZ, start playing around him to look to carry this game and look to bring back about a 3,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, once again, it is on BVZ here, and I think that as this game goes longer, even though Sivir is looking for more of an attack speed build maybe, which is interesting considering that they have Dark Harvest, that maybe we might see like that BVZ is probably going to do more damage than the Sivir if this game goes late, but you know, it has to actually get there, and we're 18 minutes into this game and it's already looking pretty good for Rev right now. They have a decent gold lead. They're getting some turrets under their belt as well, and it's really hard for DePauw to answer a lot of these plays that they're making.
Yeah, very nice usage of the Rift Herald just to walk down, drop it in the bot lane, and free up their bot lane to start moving around the map. And I think, you know, that's the end of laning phase, folks, and now it's going to be BVZ Android walking into the mid lane, or maybe even looking to fight this Drake. But since they didn't get the full reset off, this could be a dangerous play coming out from Rev that could just throw the game if DePauw recognizes that they just haven't spent all the gold that they just recently acquired.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's looking really tough right now, but DePauw does want to fight it. There's the Paranoia coming across, Galio ultimate coming down as well. The heroic entrance is here. Command Shockwave comes across, MB4, but they're going to flash forward. Great Everfrost taunt as well. So much CC. NB4 flashes over the wall in response, but this is going to be a dragon being picked up for DePauw here. They're going to pick up this Earth Drake, and we'll see what the soul is for this map.
Yep, even though they didn't have their Malphite in that fight, and even though they lost a turret up in the top side, I still consider this a one fight because it shows you the strength of their team comp. Able to isolate that one person, burst them out, get the reset for Jinx, and look to just peel for the Jinx for the rest of the fight. And very nice W from the King Pink up here on Poppy to block out the dash and taunt from the Shin. Very nice delivery system, like we said, for the Galio, and it's just so very hard for them to play out team fights if the game stays as even as it is.
Yeah, now we see BV. Oh, Thanatos going in for the taunt here. And a decent chunk of damage on an Android here. Throws out the choppers, looking for a little bit more. Here comes the Unstoppable Force. That's the Stand United as well. BVZ, Flash, Heal, Shield. They're going to be able to get away. That's not going to land the taunt either. So very close, but BVZ is out of there.
And I think that's...
Oh, they're doing it here too. That's going to be the paranoia coming across. They're looking for the last bit of damage on the Lispanks here. The Super Mega Death Record coming across, but only going to deal a little bit of damage. Flashing forward, looking for Chinggis Khan. Going to be able to find it. That's the knockup. That's the Shockwave. Looking for a little bit more. Moonfall is going to deal a decent chunk of damage. A last bit is going to be going down. Squad fam goes down. They get a 2-for-1 in the mid lane. Rev comes out on top.
But that's just DePauw right there, over-committing for the kill on the bot side to respond to the bot lane play. And I was about to say, I think they had won that. I think they had been super safe and done a really good job of just staying alive off of a really nice top from Thanatos, a really nice flash ultimate from Raptor. And they were doing a good job staying alive and just using the bare minimum to keep the Jinx in this game. And then they go and overcommit for this Spanks on the Sivir in the mid lane, and just doesn't quite leave the safe taste in the mouth. But
oh no!
Uh-oh. Can't be walking around as an AD carry without your support when there's a Malphite in the game.
A Raptor being a very clever girl there, gonna be able to pick up the kill in the jungle right there, and gonna I guess catch BVZ kind of napping there. I guess BVZ's just gonna be bursted out by the Malphite in the jungle right there.
I really hate to see it, but it is going to be a play in the top side. I think this is what you got to go for.
Yeah, that's a really good paranoia there. 1-2 punch, and King Pink is there to help out and get some gold into their pockets as well. You got to get these little victories where you can, and when you are down about 6,000 gold. So this is definitely a good spot for DePauw right now. They just really need to be looking for these objective bounties, really going to put some gold in their pockets.
Yeah, you got to isolate whoever's going to be the one split pushing, and generally it's going to be the Orianna. So just if you keep focusing down this Orianna, or you get to a point where you can actually kill the Malphite. Oh, that was mean, Juan. But if you can get to the point where you can actually kill the Malphite, then you play for the Malphite as well, of course.
Yeah, they're on the hunt. I just don't know who they're on the hunt for.
Maybe they were looking for play.
DePauw is completely out of there, so looks like they're going to have their eyes thrown to Baron right now, I guess. As now, okay.
This could throw the game off. This not actively being prepared for this, but
I mean, it's not really being punished, right? DePauw doesn't have any vision here. They don't know that this is happening, right? It's completely dark over there. They're making their way down there. They're like, huh, we don't see the enemy team. Oh, okay, they spotted it out, but look at where the jungler is. He's going to have to use paranoia in order to get over here. There's a teleport coming in from Galio. We have multiple teleports coming in. Last bit of damage. They're going to be able to secure the Baron Nashor here, but here's the fight. That's going to be a great taunt. But oh, here comes Malphite. Nocturne finally. That's a real great standing knight. Going to keep them alive but there's just a bunch of 1v1s happening across the map here, and that's really good for the blue squad as the Boomerang Blade is going to be one securing the kill here. As now Android is the only member left of DPU here for nothing, and Baron to boot. Absolutely huge. Rev gets a huge lead off of that play.
And you know, right now I think it's just the skill of DPU in the top and mid where they're just finding these advantages. The bot side was kind of a wash, you know, overall in this game, and they weren't able to find any real significant advantages. But in this mid lane is where they've been playing around. This top lane is where they've been playing around, and they've just been able to snowball a huge lead off of that. 7-2 on Juan here, and not quite sure what happened. I think BVZ got caught out by an Orianna Shockwave, and that's why they got so low before the fight even started. Dropped the Gale Force before they were realistically even in the fight. So they need to just better cross their boxes when they're going for a steal like that. But realistically, by the time they got there, it was already gone.
Yeah, I mean, once they realized that it was happening, they just kind of... And I'm going to throw this out there, and let me see if you resonate with it a little bit, like a sunken cost fallacy, right? Hey, we lost the Baron, but let's try to make something out of nothing here, even though we're down about 6,000 gold. And now they're looking at about 10,000 gold difference and putting these Hextech Dragons under their belts as well. Raptor also not scared of King Pink up in the top lane as well. It's going to be even harder for DPU to find some footing in this game right now.
Yeah, even though King Pink has the 10 killing item, he has 2 items. So at the end of the day, Raptor is able to just force out a free ultimate. And Chinggis Khan and Quan dueling down here on the bot side, but it will be Chinggis who gets reinforcements first, but Quan just snipes away that blue buff, and it's the minor victories that they've been going for all game long and just winning on repeat. Granted, they haven't really used the Baron buff to push down more than tier 1 turret, but we're gonna have to see if they opt to start pushing down for inhibitor with 40 seconds were left. I'm not quite sure if they get another one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely looking pretty dire, and coming out of picks and bans and coming off of game number one, this is definitely not looking like a DePauw that we saw from game number one. It seems like this series is turning into something of a coin flip here. As now Rev has gotten a huge lead for themselves, and now DePauw is sitting here just having a real hard time trying to play from behind. Is now even King Pink, who in the beginning of the game said like, hey, I'm able to play really aggressive, I'm able to push this Malphite really hard, is now struggling to 1v1 Raptor, and everyone seems to be dealing negative damage to this big Malphite.
Yeah, this Malphite, 2 items. Once he gets that Fimbulwinter, he's just unkillable gank.
Yep.
He's just so strong. So much HP, so many shields, this stats overall. It's just a rough game for them to try and play around, right? And yeah, I think this is not what we expected, especially we were talking about how dominant the draft was looking for the side of DePauw. To see it played out like this, to see them losing about 11,000 gold at this point, really surprising, considering all that we were stating in the earlier stages of this series. But of course, it's not over until the end of the game, and we're still looking at the Jinx BVZ, 2 items, keeping up with his opponent as much as he can to carry.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely looking pretty dire for DPU right here, especially, and I have to point this out. Maybe this is maybe a little too nitpicky, but I definitely don't like the Gale Force build into a lot of the tanky members of the opposing team. I guess you wouldn't know how Diana was going to build, but surely seeing Malphite and Shen, and you would want to build at least maybe a Kraken Slayer for the enemy team, right? We don't really see a lot of big beefy frontliners a lot in the regular meta. This seems to be just a bunch of comfort here, or just executing on a specific idea more so than picking something that's insanely powerful. So you do have to adjust to what you see on the enemy team and not just kind of autopilot your build and say, oh, well, this is the good thing to build, so I'm going to build it, right? Kraken Slayer does give you a little bit of a better time against these kind of tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kraken Slayer honestly would feel so much better. Even though BVZ has the Gale Force, hasn't been using it effectively to dodge the CC. It's always been more of a reactive tool, and at that point, why not just have Shield Bow, right? You know, if you're not going to be dodging it anyway, might as well just have Shield Bow to try and somehow sustain through it. But of course, at the end of the day, Kraken Slayer would be the best option. You know, just do as much damage as possible. Just hit them as hard as possible from as far away as possible, so you don't get caught up in the ultimates in the first place. And yeah, just really interesting builds coming out. And still not a first mythic hit for Genghis Khan. Has the Death Stance, has the Axiomart, but not a lot of HP and not a lot of damage overall. And BVZ stepping up pretty far to get that CS. Could have potentially been a collapse from Raptor if he had flash ulted that Jinx there.
Yeah, I mean, that was playing with fire right there for sure. I mean, you're 28 minutes in. You can't make those kinds of aggressive like positioning like that as a Jinx anymore. Like, especially like look at what Shen has right now. Like that's a pretty tanky boy right there. If you even a couple of rockets, still would be able to tank it, to taunt you up, put himself inside the dome, and then suddenly you're dealing no damage to him, right? Like this is a character that does not care about your damage type right now.
Yeah, and I think this is really smart from Thanatos, you know, going for the Locket of the Iron Solari. It blocks a lot of their burst damage on the side of DPU. It allows them, or it allows Rev to play a lot more aggressively and not give over that first reset to the Jinx, or delay that as long as possible. And I think that's just what you have to play for when you're this far ahead, just to play to not let the Jinx suddenly pop off. But again, second barrier getting started up, no vision for the side of DPU, and I think this plan is just to go for a Miracle Steal.
Yeah, they definitely have the start to it right now. They have to go in right now. That's not going to be able to steal it up. That's going to be the heroic entrance coming in for the start right here. That's a whole lot of damage right there, but it's all onto the frontline members here. Diana is going to go on a rampage here. This Raptor is taken incredibly low, but that's someone who you don't mind to have a bunch of damage on. Rev is going to be the next to pick up some kills here. 1, 2, 3, 4. BVZ is the only one left. MB4 is looking for that last bit of damage here. Going to throw out the zap, dodge around it, flash forward. There's the combo. Oriana picks up the kill and a very clean ace for Rev Esports as they march into the base of DePauw here and might be able to clean up game number 2.
Yeah, I think this is just their game. Again, the game decided on the second Baron. A very close flip coming out. Potentially Chinggis could have won that, but Raptor at the end of the day is the one to secure that Baron with his ultimate. Like we said, a high damage Malphite ultimate. Just gonna collect every single day of the week, and there's another one just for good measures, because why not?
I mean, they are going to be clearing up the Nexus here. They're going to be cleaning up game number 2, and Rev looking really, really strong coming out of this second game here, looking a lot better than they did in game number 1 here. And man, just a complete night and day difference, it seems, from game number 1 between these two teams here.
Yeah, completely night and day. We thought, CPU would have the draft advantage, the draft edge, but it just wasn't so. It was just Revolution coming back out on top and saying, even though our bot lane isn't quite as good as yours, we have the better top side of the map. We have the better mid. We have the better top. And even if you solo kill our top laner a few times, you're just not going to collect enough of an advantage doing that we can't trade that back. And then all of a sudden, Juan came out of nowhere on that Diana. So
Right.
with Diana, a lot of priority in this series.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the Diana pick within itself. I just think it was mostly just Revolution punishing that play in the top lane, right? We saw
Mhm.
Poppy constantly just diving, going all in on the Malphite, trying to get advantages through kills because they were falling behind in CS. And so because they made these greedy plays, Juan Cena was just able to just very easily just march his way up into the top lane, get these easy kills and be able to get. And the good thing about junglers getting kills very early on is they're the easiest and the first people to take those gold advantages and spread them out throughout the
Absolutely.
map. And I think that's at least what we saw, right? And we constantly just going back and forth between top and mid because bot was a farm fest.
Yeah.
Sivir with Sivir and Jinx is just going to be shoving the wave back and forth at each other, and they're constantly gonna crashing in the middle. So very, very good game by Revolution Esports. Let's see if they're able to continue this momentum as they get into game number 3 against DePauw Esports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Zero Gravity Gaming. Here we are, week number 5. We are in day number 1 of round 2 of our second round robin, and what a way to start off this half of the season. DePauw Esports versus Revolution Esports, bringing it out all the way to a game number 3. My name is Shenggold. I'm joined by Arlen, and we got a series on our hands.
We absolutely do. We thought, it was going to be a quick 2-0, a quick night in the office, but no, they said, let's keep those casters casting just that little bit longer. And you know what? I don't blame them. It's been a fun series to cast, and again, we're gonna see Revolution Esports ban away the Victor, ban away the Diana this time. So neither side is gonna have that super strong pick in the series. And again, DePauw taking away the Trundle, taking away the Orin, and more than likely opting to take away. I can't quite remember what it was last time, but maybe the Shin ban comes out because it was doing work in that last series.
Yeah, for sure, but I'm not sure if it was the linchpin of the team comp there. So it looks like they're just going to go ahead and ban away the Hecarim here. Still a very powerful pick. Definitely popped up a lot more, especially after, I believe, changes to Turbo Chem Tank and also the Muramana build rising to popularity as well. Just a bunch of factors bringing Hecarim into the league and bringing back into the league spotlight, and also pretty easy to execute on as well. So pretty safe ban right there to take off the tables. We now have one ban left. Maybe they take the Jinx off the table. Let's see. Okay, they do have a ban loss because of an E sub. So that means you're now going into the first pick here. What are Arlen? What are you looking for out of DePauw's picks here?
Probably just grab the Jinx again. Why not? Because BVZ, when he's ahead, he doesn't look too bad on it. He looks really good on it. But even when he's behind, again, doesn't look too bad on it. Just switch up the build a little bit in that losing game and it looks pretty good. But no, it's going to be a first pick Urgot up in that top side of the map. And that's going wild. Giving away the Jinx potentially, but I think that's worth it if it's a power pick.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a linchpin pick for sure. And then this is another one of I'm going to lift up the curtain from behind. Here, I'll do it right here. Here, I hope everyone's watching. I'm gonna lift up the curtain. Boom! There's Brennan, and he just went, "Oh no!" The second that Urgot got picked. So Urgot, yeah, this Urgot is notorious for this. The DePauw Esports top laner is notorious for this Urgot pick, and it's been banned away the whole series. This is going to be really, really interesting as we get towards these picks here, but because this Urgot has been able to carry games before, even though DePauw hasn't really getting these sort of match wins, they have been able to get some game wins off of some better, some of the top of the table teams off of the back of this Urgot. So we'll see if this is a Urgod or an Urnot. So we'll have to see how this game plays out here. Is Corki and now Kassadin is being hovered. Interesting. Okay, Kais. Okay.
Yeah. Get her daughter. Get his daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
The better character anyway. But I really do
going back to season 2 with bot lane Corki. That's what's up.
Oh no, not that. But speaking of Corki, I really do like him into the Annie. I like him a lot. Outranges the Annie, can stand off of the wave, so the Annie can't actually find any of the crazy advantages that we saw in before bind into the Yasuo. So very nice pickup right here. Just play off of the wave a little bit. But they do grab the Kai'Sa, which I think can be a little bit rough into a Jinx Rakan. She has to really be on point with those E's to dodge away from the Rakan knockup, or she gets CC'd once. She's going to get CC'd in those traps and rockets and W's and death, and it's not going to look pretty at all. So has to play in the Knife's Edge BVZ here. Jinx Rakan, very strong bot lane, can make a lot of plays happen in this mid lane, and I think that's what they're looking to do.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention, Rakan is a very strong initiator, has the quickness plus the battle dance combo, of being able to just kind of get in and then immediately run away, right? Just being able to dash in and out of these team comps. And also, once again, this is starting to look very similar to what we saw before. Rakan and Annie both are very good at saying, hey, here's a bunch of targets. Would be a shame if you were to all be CC'd at the same time. Wouldn't that be weird? So we still, Orianna is still on the table. Malphite's still on the table. There's a lot of things that Revolution could draft here that makes them still kind of similar to a lot of the comps we've been seeing over the course of this series.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be a blind pick Gnar into the Urgot, or not a blind
Uh,
pick, but rather the Gnar into
yeah.
the Urgot. Not doesn't seem like the best matchup in the world, but you're gonna have to see how that one plays out. But one thing you do want to highlight, you were saying they have a lot of ways to stop a fight and start a fight from the side of Revolution, but do they have a real way to stop poke? I That's the answer you gotta kind of like ask yourself. And the only real way to stop a poke team is a hard engage on them. And Rakan, while he does have a pretty long range engage with his flash up, really makes you wish that you had an Ornn or something up here in the top lane, right? To really start a fight off from long range and force them to stay in their position. But we're gonna have to see a Volibear going into the jungle, so they're gonna get the counter pick onto that for Revolution. But what does DePauw pick into the Rakan in the bot lane? They can do honestly anything, and I think Lulu might be their best bet just to stop his
Oh yeah,
dash
for
in.
sure.
Or
Oh,
Janna. That works great.
that works too. I mean, Janna is up there with Lulu as the anti-melee champions. You know, it's almost impossible to be anywhere close to someone who, when they're playing Janna, right? They have the Q, especially after the changes to Janna. I believe she gets like more cooldown reduction on her W and or Q or something. There's a bunch of changes to Janna that made her just that much more annoying to deal with, right? And already she's
What?
okay. Kayn is going to be locked into the Janna here, which bold
Sounds unfun.
bold bold to say the least. Can we get Gavin on the line? Where's Gavin? Gavin, where you at? Gavin, hello? Where's Gavin? Gavin, your scythe boy's here. I'll ping him. I'll ping him or something. But yeah, this is looking pretty good for DePauw here. I'm really liking the team comp here. There's a whole lot. They got the Urgot. They have this kind of like keep away comp that to really make this Corki shine here, and this Kai'Sa could flex into AP if she wants to really fire those rockets from real long range if they want to go for a poke comp here. So a little flexible here with their damage types here, that what kind of comp they want to go for.
Yeah, I think both comps are relatively evenly matched, but again, I think I have to give the edge over to DePauw, just for the idea that they do have the poke, they do have a way to engage, and they do have a way to disengage. And I think all three of those combined is something you very rarely see in a team comp, and you definitely don't see all three of those in Revolution. They have a way to disengage and they have a way to engage, but they don't have a way to really poke back. Their poke back, I guess, is a blue cane through the wall W, kind of just hit and run tactics. But even then, that seems really dangerous when you're into a Corki, when you're into a Kai'Sa, and when you're into a Janna, who can just kind of keep everybody away from your Kai'Sa and your Corki and your backline in general. And it's just really looking at Raptor maybe just try and beat out King Pink here in this top side, make it or not, like you were saying, and really looks to find advantage up there. And a perma-ganking Kayn is really what you need right now, because you need him to hit his form fast as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kayn for the longest time in that kind of early stages isn't exactly a champion. He can still do well. It's not like he's completely worthless, but you know, it's still far and away the difference between like a Blue Kayn or a Shadow Assassin or a Rost, right? So you really have to make sure that you get through this kind of early phases as fast as you can. And with a lot of range characters on the enemy team, you might be able to get Rost pretty quickly, right? It's not like you have like a real bevy. It's not like you have a real hard time getting that Rost online, which I think might be the better choice here. Like, there's a bunch of squishy champions on the enemy team, so maybe Blue Kayn is better, but it's just going to be a lot harder to execute because you're going to have to be fighting the Volibear or just getting as many of the melee camps as you possibly can.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think Rost is a better pick, and not just because it's harder to play the blue assassin here into a Volibear, but also because the idea of which one can sustain back up that HP in a fight once the fight finally kicks off versus a poke comp. DePauw is just going to look to poke out that Blue Kayn, and then he has to leave the area to go catch a camp or go reset entirely, and then they're fighting a 4v5 and they can refocus their poke on something like a Annie or a Gnar. Again, champions who don't have sustain. So I think going Red Kayn or Rost here is a really good idea, and something that Juan Cena should look to do. Just so, like we said, once the fight finally kicks off, he can start sustaining up and he can get real beefy again.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing I really wanted to touch on here about DePauw, I think we've already touched on a lot, and I think I've mentioned this kind of like word already, but flexibility is something that really comes to mind when I talk about DePauw University here, because they do actually have a lot of elements of having a pretty decent dive comp as well. John is going to lag behind a bit, but they do have, you know, between the package, Kaisa, Volibear, Urgot, like this is a team composition that can, if oriented in that way, can be a very strong, like, let's dive their squishier characters and burst them down as fast as possible, right? There's a lot of flexibility with the type of damage and the type of fight style that they would like to do over on DePauw. And, you know, they played their last game very well. But I think based on how we saw game 1 and game 2 play out, it really is going to come down to this kind of early game and who gets a lead early, because it seems like both teams aren't really comfortable playing from behind here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super hard to play from behind, even for high elo teams, right? So down here in the low elo, it must be, you know, that much worse, right? So really just looking at if this Kayn, you know, Juan on this Kayn can really start to spam gank top, spam gank mid, look for advantages down there, or is it just going to be DePauw playing a nice, cool, collected, calm game and letting, you know, Chinggis Khan hit 6 and then they can start tower diving with this Volibear? But that remains to be seen as we have to hop into a very quick break. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is the final game between DePauw versus Revolution over here on Zero Gravity Gaming.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Arlen. We are on the rift of game number 3, DPU versus Revolution Esports. We are about to get this game underway, and we are ready to see how this game turns out. We have a whole bunch of factors maybe turning this game on its head. We got the Urgot up in the top lane. We got a Kayn in the jungle that could wreak havoc on a lot of these squishy characters when it comes to the mid game. But we'll have to see how this game plays out as we have... Oh, we got a little corgi butt. Got a little corgi butt.
Nice.
Boo, 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 boo. Oh man, it was too late.
Feels bad, but
Wait, can we see one more time if he's doing the butt? Can we see one more time he's doing the wiggle? Oh,
oh,
boo, boo.
sleeper, whatever. Screw the corgi. Anyway, let's focus on this interesting pick, the actually true cool kids pick. League of Legends Sasuke, aka Juan Cena on the Kane. Interesting that he opted to take the Conquer, so it means he's been listening to the stream a little bit, opting for the red Kane over the blue Kane, and I think that's very much the right decision. But again, we see MB4, flexing their prowess on this Annie, getting a not too bad of a trade, just trading Q, trading autos with this Corki and really forcing him to play off of the wave a little bit. But we anticipated this. We knew he wanted to do this. We knew the Corki didn't mind getting forced back a little bit, but we're gonna have to watch how that lane progresses carefully, as already Janet in the bot side looking to poke out the Rakan just a little bit.
Yeah, NB4 utilizing one of the most annoying things about Annie, and if you think it's the stun, absolutely not. Annie has one of the highest auto attack ranges in the game, up there with Caitlyn. The girl with the sniper rifle. Is King Pink immediately onto Raptor here? Guess that pressed the attack. Look at that damage. Holy moly. NB4, meanwhile, mid lane, going to take an equal trade from Squad Fam. And man, we got a bloodbath already.
Yeah, and Squad Fam has to be so careful not to get flash Q, W ignited by Annie here. That's a very real threat. That's a very easy solo kill as well. So has to play a little bit more respectfully here on this Corki, or at least call over his jungle if they're going to make a play like that. But already on the top side, I think we're going to see our first gank of the game.
Yeah, here comes Kane up to the top lane. King Pink in some trouble here, very far forward.
He went in.
Looks to try to turn this into a 1-for-1, but they got nowhere to go now. They might be able to flash over the wall. Juan Cena might look to follow here. It looks like King Pink is just going to get away here. They're just going to take that flash and call it a day.
Yeah, normally when you're on Kane, you're just ganking this early. You're just looking to gank for stacks, right? You're not really looking to gank for a kill, but when you get a summoner spell out of it, I think that's pretty worth it. It's, Gingerbin, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, Gingerbin has to use their W in order to escape there. Chinggis Khan is going to be the one picking up the Rift Scuttler right there. Not going to get the double scuttle, however, but they are going to maybe catch out Rakan one more time here as Volibear makes their way into the red team's jungle here. Their way out, though.
Yeah, they knew that Juan, dropped a little 3 camp into a gank right there, so they took advantage of that, dropped some wards down, got some vision down on that bottom side of the map, and starting to look to play around that. And it's just all about the timing of the Volibear first gank. That's what we're really looking at. We're looking at that level 6 on the Volibear, jumping over a turret and looking to disrupt the flow in the mid lane, because right now it's pretty NB4 favored. Whereas the top side, kind of even. I think once he picks up that CS, that pretty big wave, he's going to have a relatively even score. So just look to flip mid, look to flip top, and then let bot, chill, because right now they are winning a little bit in terms of CS.
Yeah, right now, definitely across the board here, if we take a look, top lane, mid lane, definitely getting some leads. Bot lane is tied, and there's a little bit of an advantage in the jungle towards DPU, but yeah, overall, Rev is starting off this game pretty strong with regards to the CS numbers so far, and we have quite a couple resets already, so you might be able to continue this lead, especially if they're doing the freezing down in the bot lane that we see right now.
Yeah, not too much to write home about, and a very nice free coming out from Spanx and Gingerbin. A very different turn than what we saw game 1, right? But I think it finally gets broken here by BVZ and Android. They just have the range advantage, and it's going to be a W in.
Oh, yeah, they're looking for it. The zap doesn't land here, but that's going to be... Oh, man. Glacial Augment is so good on Janna here. Here comes Chinggis Khan. Raptor has to flash away and use the hop as well. And all Chinggis Khan... I think you take that trade every day of the week if you're Raptor here. A ghost on the jungler. Once again, Gingerbin, and a little too greedy with these initiations here. Here comes Juan Cena in from the side here, looking for BVZ, but Rakan has already taken a whole bunch of damage. They got to get out of there.
Yep, I think if they continue to force that play, it might have resulted in a 1-for-1, but I don't think that's a 1-for-1 you realistically want to take when you gank someone 3v2, right? You just want a quick and easy either single kill or double kill, but you don't want to trade multiple people for it at all. So not bad at the end of the day. And it's going to be Kane looking for a little bit of an invade, maybe a confrontation around these Raptors here.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to get what he's looking for here. Squad Fam going to scare them away. So those Raptors are going to go over to Volibear this time. I also like this as well. We saw it very quickly there, but Android 81 was like ready and willing to make his way up into that top half of the map right there. Like already roaming through the tri-brush to make it into that river. So very, very good roams, very good communication from DPU here so far in this game. This game is still even. It's not anything too crazy has happened just yet, but we need to keep our eyes on this game still as anyone's game.
Uh-oh, Android, no flash.
Yeah, Android, no flash. Gonna use that shield, the exhaust as well. BVZ's gonna show up, but it might be a little too late. And yeah, they're not gonna be able to. They're gonna be able to get away here. I don't think they're gonna be picking up a kill this time, but that's a whole lot of chip damage as well. As now Juan Cena coming up into the top lane here. There's the flip. Juan Cena actually taken really, really low here. Has to be careful. It's going to be turned into the meat grinder right there. Going to get feared away, but they're not going to be able to pick up that kill as Volibear. Making the long way around into this bot lane here. Genjibin taken incredibly low here. Has to flash away. Genghis Khan immediately turns onto Lispanks here. Has to flash as well. They're looking for a little bit of more here. That's a great placement of the chompers here, but BVZ might have the damage to do so. Gets that last bit of movement speed. Going to be able to pick up a double kill in the bot lane. One to Volibear, one to the Kaisa, and that's a really, really good start across the map for DPU. As they pick up 3 kills for themselves in that extended engage there.
Yep. 3 kills and a Drake, that feels great. And, you know, I was about to say BVZ and Android. That was the first mistake we've really seen them. Oh, nice dodge in the ultimate. That was great from Squad Fan. But I was about to say, that's the first mistake we've seen BVZ and Android make down here in this bot side. You know, first time they've been solo killed by the Spanks with any combination of support. But Android taking a very aggressive stance into Ginjibin here, and that's just the right move when you have to make with Genghis Khan on your side. But this top lane not respecting the damage a level 6 Urgot can do, and Juan Cena pays for his life right there. Super unfortunate, and especially when you're the only melee you can hit to get red form is the Volibear. Yeah, really rough. You know, he's probably about halfway maybe, I think, if I had to guess, on his blue form, and like we said, that's just not the form he wants this game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think blue form is the end of the world for Kane this time around, because there are still a bunch of squishy champions, right? There's 3 champions that can very easily be executed if he's looking for that specific build. But based on the fact that he's got the Conqueror, he's got the Iron Spike Whip, he's looking for that Rost form, right? So, and you said it, like, it's really hard to find this Volibear and fight him 1v1 at this stage, because, you know, especially because DPU is very good at communicating. They haven't been by themselves a whole lot. Genghis Khan, oh no, stunned underneath turret, but there's a good flip from the Urgot as well. They're going to use the ultimate to turn off that turret. That's going to be Ignite ticking, but Genghis Khan gets away with just a sliver of HP, just 100 to their name. They're going to walk all the way back to base and be A-okay. Now BVZ looking for a little bit more onto Lispanks here. That's going to be the John Q coming across. They're slowed down. BVZ gets a little bit more damage. He can't quite go underneath the tower just yet. Lispanks still about half HP. Here comes the re-engage from Juan Cena here. Super Mega Deathworker comes across. Android taken incredibly low here. Great slow field from the ultimate right there. Going to be knocked into the air. Maybe that's the last bit that they need. Shield, heal. They're going to be able to get away A-okay. Let's see if they're looking for a little bit more. Juan Cena getting underneath turret, taking up just a little bit more. Great tornado. Jinx.
Oh, no.
That's awful. Really, really bad there. BVZ might be able to actually turn this around now. They're level 7. That's the re-engage here. Ginjibin just going to waste their time. Make sure that King can get out of there. BVZ is going to be the one picking up a kill, but really, really poor communication by Rev underneath the turret there with the turret aggro.
Yeah, that was really, really good job. You know, just from the side of DPU to get out of the gank in the first place. And then, like you said, really, really rough from Rev, not properly judging who is in turret range, who was juggling the turret aggro at the current moment. And Lispanks just gets caught out there, and it's yikes. It's just not what you want to see. Not really in a danger is the bot lane anymore, even though Kane is on the bot side of the map, but they potentially could be. But with Killer Instinct still on BVZ, I think he just gets out of here with that ultimate and then exhaust blown. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Juan Cena, there's the path, Dark Pass right there, looking for the last bit of damage here. 2 blue HP bars looking really low here. Genjibin dives right in, double kill. Genjibin, finally, the greedy movement pays off. Going to be able to grab themselves a double kill, but here comes Corki in from the side. Might look for something here. That is still a really low recon, but still 2 full HP bars. Meanwhile, King Pink up in the top lane here. Definitely looking a 1v1 Raptor here. Look at the damage. Holy moly.
Yep, Urgot. There's very few champions I hate more than Urgot. Not even because of the fear or ultimate or execute or any of that, right? No, even the shotgun knees are fine. It's just that the fact that what the shotgun knees do, right? It's the fact that the shotgun knees have percent health damage on them, and then later in the stages of the game, they just come up so often. They're pretty much always up, and even when he's behind, he can still scale up quite hard. So an Urgot that's ahead is even scarier. Honestly, one of the scariest champions in the game, and I think they need to try to do something else where they really need to devote resources into the spot side of the map like they're doing, or even in mid, because they need this Annie to really scale up and bring the magic damage that their team so desperately needs.
Yeah, but here comes the fight up in the top lane. King Pink gets the flip, but that's going to be the jump as well. There's going to be the jump from Volibear, though. Turns off the turret. There's that Ohm Wrecker one more time. Not going to do a whole lot, but here comes the rest of the red team. There's a good stun. Great stopwatch, but they're charmed up underneath the turret. Corki's going to go down. So it's a 1-for-1 of in the top lane after all those roams. It's Spanx down here in the bottom lane by themselves.
Spanx just has to farm on turret. Not really in a danger of dying unless they step up too far, but it still sucks none the least because you don't really want to be harassing a turret. One thing that is in Spank's favor this game finally is the CS advantage is firmly theirs by about 11-12 CS margin, so not too bad at all. They just need to maintain that, and they can say they can stay relatively even. But yeah, really nice play up on the top side to get that play started, and that might be the wrong play with Spanx taking a little bit too much chip damage and accordingly backing off. Very nice stopwatch from Squad Fam up in the top side, but at the end of the day, Annie still had stun, Annie still had kill pressure, and Annie will still burst you down.
Yeah, for sure. You still have to be careful. You know, at this stage of the game, there are some small leads here and there, but you still have to respect the amount of damage that the opponent team has. And Squad Fam is going to throw out that package kind of defensively. Gets a little too close to NB4 there, and it's going to turn into a 1v1 for 1 there. The mid laners go down, and now the blue team kind of pretty well positioned around this Dragon Pit right now. Gnar is making their way down. Yeah, nope. Gnar's not making their way down. It's a 3v3 right now. Chinggis Khan has started up the Drake. Here comes the reinitiation. Great double knockup. Super Mega Death Rocket was huge. Double Charm as well. They're now looking for a little bit more. Chinggis Khan is now 1v3 rather. King Pink, meanwhile, in the top lane, looking to fight Raptor maybe, but Raptor going to grab that Mega Form pretty soon as they pick up the Dragon. They're going to pick up the Earth Drake. Chinggis Khan? Okay, no.
Nope.
That's going to be 1-for-1 for the Drakes here. Is now, let's see, our map is Ocean Drakes.
Very nice. I like Ocean. And I think it's really good for both teams, quite honestly. They can play out the fights either, you know, for the poke team or for the team fight sustained disengage team of Rev. So both sides really want Ocean Drake this game. It's not like a Cloud Soul where both teams kind of want it, but not really. It kind of sucks, but this one is super important to both teams. And I think that we'll be getting a lot more bot lane focus than we have already. But speaking to that fight, I think it turns out to be a different story if Squad Fam just doesn't walk up as far as he did into MB4, a guaranteed dead target, and just allowed the Annie get that single last Q off and pop the Corki. So, like I said, completely different story, I think, if Squad Fam just doesn't do that. And now we're looking at about 2 or 1,000 roughly gold over to the side of, not DePauw, Revolution. There it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely a good, a good place for Rev to kind of start their snowball into like this later stage of the game so far. And you know, we've seen from the past 2 series that the folks who got these kind of early leads were able to catapult themselves as the game went later. But you know, I'm really looking at kind of like this bot lane here as they're grabbing this first turret and been having a whole lot of pressure on this bot lane turret all game. There's still some good avenues for GPU to win this as Genjibin dives right in. Squad Fam taken incredibly low. Flash forward from NB4. Doesn't find the stun though. And they're going to be able to get away. Squad Fam lives to tell the tale, and a whole bunch of summoners were spent right there. This is going to be Chinggis Khan diving right in, getting the burst damage, but there's a whole lot of CC. NB4 is able to return it as well as they can. Meanwhile, King Pink on the top lane, DPU is firing on all cylinders across all lanes, and are going to be able to get that up there as well. Now Rost has joined the party up in the top lane. We finally got that red transform, but look at the damage from King Pink. You can't 1v1 the Urgot right now. He's too strong. Juan Cena dives right in. King Pink underneath the turret here, has to walk to the other end here. Has to heal off these minions as best he can, but his HP bar is looking really low. Juan Cena's looking for it. Goes to a wall. Here comes the trespass. There's the knock up. There's the spin. There's the shutdown. Kane comes in just in time. Going to be able to pick up the kill this time.
600 gold over to Red Kane. Not bad. It's going to boost up his income a little bit, but the fact that Chinggis Khan was able to find that play in the mid lane after so much was blown onto a Corki that didn't even die, that feels really, really bad right there. 2-0 on this Volibear. It matches the 2-1 Kane in terms of CS and everything else as well. And they really have to be looking for tempo plays. And I think this is the perfect one to make. Looking for the Rift Herald, looking to use it on a lane, break open a turret, get it back for themselves, and looking to distract from this Drake that's spawning in about 2 minutes here.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. Just hold on to it for just a little bit longer. It might just come out to be just a weird timer with the cooldown or for how long you have the actual Rift Herald with regards to the dragon for using it as distraction purposes. But I think the blue team might spot out Rev all the way here. Raptor already taking a decent chunk of damage. King Pink ready to go. Android, however, knocked into the air. Going to give themselves a shield. They do have that ultimate available, but they're charmed up and going to go down. First casualty of this fight here as Corki on the backside here looking to fight the Gnar, but they're already gone. And so now it's a 1-for-0. They got the Rift Herald to boot. Chinggis Khan is here. It doesn't look like they're able to get a whole lot else from this fight right here.
Yeah, wasn't able to use the ultimate from Android, only got the exhaust off, didn't even have a chance to use the flash, and maybe that was a misplay, that the fact that they weren't able to use the flash, maybe it was a misplay that they weren't able to use the ultimate, but it will be looking like a play going down to Raptor. He's forced the flash.
That's going to be the ultimate coming down, turning off the turret. Raptor not going to be pulled into the meat grinder this time around. The kill's going to go over to Volibear. So both these teams still looking very strong, as that's going to be the second turret of Revs going over to DPU.
A little bit rude to steal that away, but I guess it happens, you know, but it will be NB4 getting caught out again.
Yeah, one more time. Android 81, just a real rough spot. They're going to use that stopwatch, but they're going to use the ultimate as well. Interesting choice. But yeah, it's not going to really come out as well as they'd hoped here. You take a look at the top lane. King Pink is still going.
He does not care at all for the Drake, and it's going to be the Corki package being used to make a play in the mid lane, and he dies instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people saw that coming a mile away. Now Genjibin looking to dive right in here. Great to tank up that Super Mega Death Rocket by Chinggis Khan there. But now the red team does kind of have this free opportunity to just kind of walk over to this Drake right here and get themselves closer to this soul point.
Nice job from MB4 and Genjibin just to zone away Chinggis from not even giving him a chance to steal it. And they finally spot out that they were spotted by a ward, but Chinggis without ultimate, it's gonna mean the Ocean Drake goes over the side of Rev, and that play in the mid lane was really rough from Squad Fam. I think it could have been better used just to wait for the Drake fight to actually kick off instead of looking for like a solo play in the mid lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just see King Pink just hard pushing topside. 2 items, the first person reach 2 items in this game, and right now it's just all in the back of this Volibear, all in the back of this Urgot, because the mid lane just doesn't pick up slack until around 3 items on the Corki, especially if he's going this AP Corki build. He really needs Ludens, he really needs Ravenous Hydra to start really pumping out damage. Same with Kaisa, she needs those 3 items to start pumping out damage, and right now 3-1 on the Kane, and this Rakan has been making a lot of plays.
Yes, as now they're looking for Raptor on the top lane already. The damage from DPU Squad Fam is good. You know, we just need to see him not make very strange plays like we saw in the mid lane there. Maybe his... Oh, wait a minute.
Wow.
That's it. Okay, well... Hashtag just anythings. Am I right? Am I right?
True. Oh, that... didn't even get a chance to use.
No, we're not gonna get DMC. That was there for like 2 seconds. We're fine. Genjibin, on the other hand, not so much. Shutdown goes over
Not funny at all.
Mega Death Record comes across. NB4 might be slowed down. This might be oh yeah, has to flash away as immediately that press the attack is triggered on them. Yeah, they cannot stay. This Urgot hurts so much. They only have 2 items.
I think that's the worst person to give over 600 gold, and they have to be very careful in this mid lane, because I'm smelling a dive if Chinggis Khan wants to play his cards right. DPU Squad Fam also on the top side looking to take this red buff, but it's going to be Chinggis Khan who's the one who's getting caught out here.
Yeah, he's going to stand inside the thunderstorm here. Squad fam is in some trouble. He has to flash away. Chinggis Khan looking to go over the wall, going to bring Kane with him. That's going to heal off the smiting the Baron, but he's going to take the aggro from it as well. So now his entire team is actually taking damage from the Baron here. So now Jinx has come to join the party, and he's there as well. Flash forward by King Pink over here, but now he's into a 1v3. You do a lot of damage, but I don't think you can survive a 1v3, let alone a 1v4. BVZ stepped up too far forward now, and now one for at a time. DPU is falling. Flash over the wall. Great knock up, great charm as well. Chinggis Khan, great stun, and underneath the turret, a little safer. And now this is where they're going to back. And before, when they had gotten a pretty easy victory and scared them away, now Rev is making their play over to Baron.
This could be the throw. Huge goal lead going over the side of a DPU, but immediately swinging it back in the favor of Rev. And yeah, just look at that goal lead, just back and forth this entire game, but solidly in the favor of Rev for the most part, and just a huge spike in gold from picking up that Baron now. And this might be the interest they need to actually start pushing forward their lead and expand this game and blow it wide open there. Wasn't even an attempt to take or contest the Baron with teleports or anything like that. So yeah, that's just going to be tier 1 in the mid lane falling, probably more than likely tier 2 or tier 1 in the top lane falling as well. But Jingus survives for so long here, but Squad Fam getting picked off in the top lane definitely didn't help their chances. And like I said, survives for so long, and I think this is where they make the call just to pull out. But King Pink has other ideas, sees that Lispanks just barely overextended, but not quite enough to reach the stun, not quite enough to survive, not tanky enough yet, Urgotten. BBZ over committing to the play as well, and it's just a lost play from there.
Yeah, sometimes you got it, and sometimes you got. And this time King Pink might be in some trouble one more time. Might be able to 1v1 as long as he can here. Genjamin already taking a bunch of damage here, but Juan Cena finally does a whole bunch of damage. You can't stop the pain train this time round. King Pink falls one more time.
Kane doing a lot better than we estimated him to do in this game. He really has stepped up and taken control of the team, and like we said, got the early ganks off, got the early form, and started pumping out damage. And he's realistically the only person who can deal with King Pink on his team, and I think that's just the right assignment. Keep assigning him to deal with this Urgot as much as possible. But 30 minutes on this next Drake, and we're looking at Corki to effectively use his package here.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to come. I think that's a big linchpin in these team fights here. Like, that package is such a powerful ability, and it's basically, it is pretty much the same as a Rumble ultimate, just on a much longer range as well. It's so good, does a whole bunch of damage, especially with that magic penetration that Corki is sitting on right now. Like, it's definitely a really potent tool. The problem is we need to see, DePauw rather, utilize it effectively. Is now Raptor in some trouble. 4 people up in this top lane are going to take out this Gnar, but with so many people showing top lane, this is a free Drake to go over to Rev here.
Yeah, Chingus wasn't even in the area to contest it alone. Solo try to look for a steal, and kind of rough to give up the Ocean Drake like that, because like we said, both teams would love an Ocean Drake, but I guess they're just looking to fight it at the 4th one, look to fight at the soul, and just win every fight after that. And that's not too bad of a goal, but you have to remember, this Shinx is scaling. Kai'Sa does scale as well, but sometimes it's just easier to right click than it is easier to hit your skill shots.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, this should be the time where they're pressuring the most, right? Like, they have their Muramanas both online. This is the big power spike that we've been waiting for, right? Like, sure, they don't have their mythic items yet, but like, this is still like a huge power spike for Corki and for Kai'Sa as well. Kai'Sa's also sitting on an Asher's Tooth. This is a point in time where you should be pressuring a lot of these team fight situations. Even though you're behind in gold, you have these kind of big ticket items already completed. As now Chinggis Khan looking to block Juan Cena here as he goes into the temporal passage right there, looking for that last bit of damage here. He can't quite find it. They're going to use that Shurelya's Battlesong to get away, heal up off the Scuttle Crab, and they're out of there.
Yeah, they're surviving with just using the flash, and even have to drop the ultimate to try to buy a little bit more time. And nice stuff coming up from the side of Juan Cena, just be a little bit annoying. But even as you say, they're missing those mythics. The first mythic comes online for this Corki. Now he's really looking to put the damage down onto the side of Rev, and those rockets, especially the big one, is gonna hurt when it lands. But I also find it a little bit weird that they haven't been looking to play the poke comp that we expected them to do. Instead, it's been really a lot more brawly, and it feeds more into the side of Rev. Ooh, very nice dodge on that ultimate from NB4. Very good stuff coming up from BVZ there, but will it be enough? Can they take an advantage of that relatively short cooldown, look for a play, or what happens remains to be seen.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see DPU utilize their kind of abilities here, right? Like they have some pretty big swings. The only problem is there's nothing really to fight over right now, and pushing into Rev right now is going to be really tough just because of their gold lead, and they have some pretty decent wave clear as well. But you know, you have to wait to see easy. And oh my god, what a great initiation. It's a 1-2 punch. They were there for a second, and now they've just been deleted. Rev comes out huge with a quick 2-0 win in the mid lane. And now King Pink might have found out Raptor here. Maybe Raptor found out King Pink. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of damage already. That's going to be the Mega Narc coming through. Narc's going to slam him into the wall. Here comes NB for another follow-up CC. Tries to flash away. Not going to be able to do it. Now they're going, okay, Juan Cena, there's that Umbral Trespass looking in through the wall here. And now, yeah, this is going to be really tough. Rev is doing a real good job. They get 2 turrets off of that play. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, Ginger been playing much improved over his performance from game 1. Honestly, they just blew the game wide open with that play, and it feels really, really good to get your revenge down here on the bot side. And Android not quite playing the Janna as well as we saw him play the Rel. He peeled more on the Rel, and it feels really, really bad down here. So really, realistically, going further into this game as the Baron spawns in 12 seconds, 10 seconds, we want to see Android actually stop those engages. We want to see Android be on point with those ultimates, on point with that exhaust, on point with those tornadoes, or else they're just going to be able to keep doing that kind of stuff over and over. But finally, we see the poke come out from BVZ and Squad Fam.
Yeah, the only problem is now they're kind of ready for it, right? Like, after all this time, they have built some defensive items here, so they have some resistances in their pockets. It's not, like, astounding, right? But now it's definitely gotten to the point where this poke damage might have been huge before, but now it's not going to be as big, right?
Ooh,
so
dropping the ultimate. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
probably
probably
have been a misclick.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that hurts. You hate this.
Yeah.
Especially when the Drake is spawning in about a minute and the Baron's already spawned. I think they see their opportunity to go in.
Oh, shit. Genghis Khan is going in. He's going to be able to find Juan Cena here, but there's not a whole lot of follow-up for the rest of the team. He's already devoted so much. They're going to flip Annie into the team, find the shutdown. There's Super Mega Death Record coming down as well. Rakan is going to fall too. That's 2 kills going over for DPU here, as now King Pink has to teleport up into the top lane to match the Gnar. With 2 kills and this Dragon spawning in about 20 seconds, this should be going over to DPU right now.
And this is the flip back into the opposite team. I think NB4 didn't have to flash in to try to look for the hero play to explode BVZ or Android. Not that he killed either of them. Just maybe misjudged their damage just a little bit too much. And if they had held that flash and just wait for everything to go on cooldown, then re-engage with their team, we could be talking about an entirely different story, or use the flash to get out, and they can still contest Baron or still force him to choose between Baron or Ocean Drake. But either way, it will be the first Ocean Drake going over to DePauw, and that Elder is a long ways away.
Yeah, for sure. And now with this objective bounty as well. Oh,
Ghosting.
Khan, they're looking for less space here. They got the burst damage, but Juan Cena's right
ultimate.
there. You can't ignore this Kane. It's a 1v2. This Volley Bear gets some decent damage. Super Mega Death Record comes across. They're still looking for this fight here. Rakan has jumped around the corner. We're looking at Squad Fam right now. Android is running for their life here as the turret. They're gonna, excuse me? BVZ now is in a 1v3. Android is trying to keep them alive as best they can. Real big shield. Great double knockup. Oh, 1-2 punch. Rev comes out huge here.
Yeah, BVZ finally picks up the crown of the Shadow Queen, but one thing BVZ hasn't been able to do effectively is use this Killer's Instinct defensively. We've always been seeing it used like once or twice offensively, but defensively it's just not there to protect him. So good job on Squad Fam to get the execute. Doesn't give over the goal, just a little bit of experience over to NB4, but with both of your team getting run down there, That's just 2 inhibitors and more than likely a Baron getting picked up so they can start focusing all their attention bot side. And that's a 6K, 6.8K, 6.4, 6K goal lead going over to the side of Rev.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to look like a Rev game to win here. They're looking very strong, and not even Chinggis Khan can fight NB4, who's dealt more than half of their HP damage in a single burst. Here comes Super Mega Death Rocket across as well. Chinggis Khan can now no longer contest this Baron. He goes in. He's certainly going to die. Great use of Tibbers here to give them a little bit of vision. DPU squad fam going to use that package to dive right in. Going to take it incredibly low there. They're trying to turn the rest around the best they can. 1, 2, 3 kills for the Jinx. A kill for the Annie. Can they get the full house? Let's see. They're already dealing a decent chunk of damage. These HP bars are pretty low. BBZ has a chance here. He's looking real low, but there's the Kane ultimate. 1, 2 punch. Oh, flash away. They still alive
he kills
here.
one.
They picked one. Okay, can they? Oh, okay. Nope, they're not going to be able to turn it around here. They're just going to be able to pick up the ace. Raptor immediately teleports into the base, and they're going to be the ones picking up game number 3. Rev, a little bit shaky in game number 1. Pull it back together in game number 2, and then are able to close it out game number 3 after a back and forth for such a long time. This is the first series that we've seen go to 3 games, and what a series it was. Okay, we're hopping into the. Okay, what are we doing here, folks? Are we ending the game? Okay, we're fighting just for a little bit longer. Okay,
okay, just making sure.
These players always do it. You know, they're gonna win and just like, all right, we're gonna end the game. I'm setting it up for the end of the game. I'm really trying to set it up for the end of the game. I'm setting you the ball. It's time to spike it. Please just end the game. I can't keep lining it up over and over. Okay. Revolution Esports comes out 2-1.
Yes, they do. And what a convincing, well, not quite convincing. They looked a little bit shaky, like you said. In that first game, it was looking pretty rough. Very convincing win for DePauw. And it lets you know, even though they aren't doing the best in the standings, they're still a team to be reckoned with. You know, if you slip up for even one time, for even one game, they will snatch it away from you. And even in this game, it looked so very close. But just superior macro play, superior positioning around the map, and ability and willingness to take plays and responding to the plays that DePauw tried to make for themselves. It's just Revolution who came out on top today, and I think they did very well for themselves. Played to their team comp, like we said, and it's DePauw who fell, not playing to theirs exactly as we think it would have won them the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, DePauw still has, I'm going to throw out the P word that everyone in League of Legends hates hearing, but, potential. I mean, they had a bunch of very good individual moments throughout the entire series, but, these kind of individual moments weren't able to kind of correlate themselves into something of a more broader victory for themselves. So while they are still, I agree, a team to contend with, they can still take some play spoiler for a lot of these teams that are higher in the standings. I think that you should still at least give them respect where it's due, right? Because they still play very well, and if they play as like game number 1 for DePauw was really, really good. Their vision was incredible. Like the way that they were roaming around the map, impeccable, right? But we didn't see that as it continued into game 2 and maybe into game 3 as they started to fall behind earlier than they expected.
Yeah, absolutely. They just not. It's just that we saw game 1 and it looked so clean, so crisp, so nice, and then game 2 and 3 just fell apart. It wasn't as crisp, it wasn't as clean. It's just that first game they were just so locked in, and if they're able to somehow train that up, where they're able to carry in that locked in state onto games 1 or games 2 and 3, then we could be looking at a real, come from behind miracle story if they're able to clean up these next 3 and then some other next 3 games, and then some other teams fall in the second round robin here. They might be able to potentially eke out a victory, but at the end of the day, it is going to be Revolution Esports win.
Yeah, for sure. But that is going to do it for us here tonight at Zero Gravity Gaming. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And GG's to both of our teams. 2 teams come in, but only one can be the victor. Good congratulations to Revolution Esports, and GG's as always to both teams. Thank you so much for letting us cast your game. From myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Arlen, my co-caster, and Brennan, our producer and infrequent ooer and thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.